Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're watching this in real time, Happy New Year to you all. Happy 2026. I cannot believe we're in January of 2026. I hope your new year is off to a great start so far, and I hope you had a really great holiday season. In this video, I'm going to be reminiscing and taking a little trip down memory lane, and we're going to talk about the 5 most viewed videos that were on my channel in 2025. Now, in this video, we're going to be reminiscing those top 5 videos, and this is actually something I did last year on my channel. I don't know if you guys remember, or if maybe if you didn't catch it, but I sat down and I actually talked about the top 4 highest viewed videos on my channel for 2024. So this year we're going to do 5. It's going to be a long one, but hopefully it's going to be enjoyable. And either way, if you want this on as background noise to keep you company while you're doing other things, or if you want to just sit down, like do a little marathon with me, I'm here for whatever it is. But grab a snack, grab some coffee, or grab a matcha, grab your dogs, grab your cat or your blankie, and let's reminisce on the top 5 most viewed videos of 2025. All right, now in order of the least viewed to the most viewed, we'll save the most viewed for last, but the first one up is makeup that lasts all day. Now, this is something that I like to tackle very often on my channel. I'll probably definitely be doing another video like this with the same title for 2026 because it's something that we all need. I'm a makeup artist of 18 years at this point, and it's always one of the top questions I get asked from people online, people in my DMs, anyone, people in real life. How do I get my makeup to last? How do I get my makeup to stick? My blush fades, my concealer creases, my skin looks oily by this time. There's so many different factors that go into a long-lasting makeup look. So sit back, relax, let's enjoy this together, and save this video for any time you're going to an event, you're going to a special occasion like a wedding, especially an outdoor wedding, or anything that's going to be in the summertime. This video is going to be a really great video to pull out of your back pocket when you need these helpful tips and these helpful reminders on how to get your makeup to last all day. So together, let's watch how to make your makeup last all day. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my secret recipe, my secret sauce on how I get my makeup to stay put and last all day long. If you could believe it, I still get so many questions. I've posted so many videos in the past on how to get your makeup to last, how to make it sweat proof, humidity proof, oily skin proof, all those things. But I still get asked a lot by you, especially on Instagram mainly, how to get their makeup to last. And it's a big complaint. It's definitely an issue. When we put our makeup on in the morning, we want our makeup to stay put and we don't want to have to fuss with it. That's the last thing that I want to do personally. So these are the steps, the techniques, and the layering methods that I do every time I want my makeup to stay put and last. And this is going to be a Nikki uncut, so we're not cutting any of the stuff out. No blending, no nothing is going to get cut out of this video. So you'll be able to see in real time the actual process of what it takes to get your makeup to lay down and stay put all day long. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now you're going to be surprised, or maybe you won't. If you're not new to my channel, you're not going to be surprised that there's no primer in sight over here. Not a primer. Setting sprays, yes, setting sprays galore. This is something I absolutely heavily rely on, and you will too if you want your makeup to stay put all day. But there's not a primer in sight. Nothing wrong with it. If you want to utilize one, you definitely can. If you're not new here, you already know I'm not much of a primer girly. There's a time and a place, but it's not going to be in this makeup routine. So I am going to start with my base and my foundation. I'm trying this combo out right now. I've been loving mixing my foundations. No, I did not invent that, but I've talked about this. I want to bring it back and just kind of remind people that mixing your foundations, you can get a customized finish. So right now I'm testing out the Easy Blur foundation from Huda Beauty. I wear the shade Macaroon. It's 230N. Let me shake this up. I haven't used this one in a second. So shake it up. I'm going to mix this on my hand like that. Take that pump. And then we're going to mix it with an all-time favorite from the drugstore. Such a fantastic formula. The Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint in the shade 220 is legit one of the best. Okay, I didn't quite do equal parts. That was an accident. But as I was saying, this is one of the legit best formula foundations at the drugstore. I'm going to grab a nice clean N17 brush, dip into the foundations. Let me take off the bracelet that my niece put on my wrist over the weekend. So sorry about that. I'll put it back on later so I don't hurt her feelings. But for this video, let me take it off. Okay, so mixing these two, applying it with my clean N17, And there's a method to how you should put your foundation on, like how you should physically apply it if you want it to stay on. Now, when you're initially putting it on, let's say you're in a hurry, you don't have a ton of time to just carefully blend this onto your skin, you could pretty much slap it on, right? But then when you get to the areas where it's like what I call high traffic, meaning around your mouth, around your nose, in the center of your face, anywhere you have larger pores, I want you to slow it down and start to push the product into your skin. I talk about this on a regular basis, it feels like, but it's a very underrated tip and a very underrated technique that if you want your makeup to actually stay put and last, you gotta push it into your skin. So you could see how much pressure I'm using by how the brush is moving, right? It's a flat brush and it's like bending because I'm pushing that product very well into my skin. And then as you get to around your nose, this is one thing I love about my N17 brush. I'll use the tip of the brush and scoop it around my nose, which is a harder to reach area of my face. It's harder to blend the product into that area. And I'll also scoop it back towards my ear until I'm really happy with the blend and how seamless it looks. Now, if you want your makeup to, here's a hard truth, okay? Are you ready for like a hard truth with makeup that you might not want to hear? If you want your makeup to actually last, and if one of your biggest complaints is that your makeup does not last and it doesn't stay put throughout the day, it dissipates, it's like your blush is gone, your concealer is half gone, your foundation walked off your face. You know what I mean? Like if your complaint is that your makeup is just, it's gone halfway through your day, the hard truth that I have to tell you is you're not wearing enough. And that's just the reality. And you know, they kind of go hand in hand, or they don't kind of, they go hand in hand. Long wearing makeup, let's take bridal makeup, for example. This is one of the biggest things I used to tell my brides when I used to do bridal makeup. Emphasis on the used to. But when I used to do bridal makeup, I would tell my brides, listen, this is going to be and feel a lot heavier than what you're used to in your day-to-day life, but I promise you, it's not going to look anything like that in your photos, videos, anything like that. It's still going to look beautiful in person, but yes, you are going to have some more makeup on your face than what you're used to, and probably like what you're more comfortable with as well. But the reality is, if you want your makeup to last, much like bridal makeup, for example, you need to wear more of it. So that's a hard truth. Don't come for me. I'm just gonna keep it real over here on this channel. And if you want your makeup to stay put and last, and you're feeling like it's not, then you're not wearing enough, my friends. But don't worry, there are still techniques you can utilize, like this pushing technique, like that, the tapping technique, that even if you are wearing thin amounts of makeup, it will keep those thin amounts of makeup on your skin much, much longer if you utilize those kind of application techniques. Okay, so pushing it in. Now we're in a really great spot. I love the finish of these two products together. I will link them, of course. The tone is great. I'm getting a great blend down my neck, always important. And now we can move on, and I'm gonna actually do a little bit of color correcting because the concealer that I wanna use is the YSL All Hours. This is a very long wearing concealer. I've been really, really liking this formula. It is pricier, it's YSL, but it does stay put really, really nicely. And I do find also I think I've been using this like 2 weeks at this point. In the times I've been wearing it, I can actually use a little less powder to set it because it is so long wearing. So I'm just doing a little bit of color correcting with a favorite product. It's Cali Ray, the Hideaway Brightening and Hydrating Under Eye Serum Concealer Corrector. It's a long name. I'll link this as well. So we're gonna switch brushes now to a bedazzled N14. And we're gonna do the same technique. We're not gonna swipe it. You can if you wanna shear it out, but we wanna keep this color correcting coverage that I definitely need. But we're gonna tap it in and push it in. Okay, this is what I want you to keep in mind if you want your makeup, whatever level of makeup you're gonna put on, if you want it to stay put, you need to push and push and push your products into your skin. Okay, just like this. This is what I do with pretty much all my clients, unless I'm called to do like a model for like a skincare campaign. I do a lot of skincare stuff. I do a lot of hair campaigns. If the makeup is, if the direction is natural, then I don't need to like worry about pushing the product in as much. If anything, I'm working in thin, light layers, and I'm more so shearing it out. Okay, let's bronze up my complexion because I'm looking a little flat, a little one-dimensional. I find that the Makeup by Mario Serum Sculpt something bronzing, it's another long name. I find that this is a really thin, lightweight formula, but I find that it is extremely long-lasting. It's a really, really great product. So whether you're a natural makeup lover or maybe you're a pro makeup artist, same N17 brush, by the way, I'm just going to tap it in. Whatever category that you fall into, I find this is like a really versatile product because if you're a pro, you can layer it up to perfection. You can build it up really seamlessly on the skin without it looking heavy or too makeup-y. Like I'm gonna layer it on my forehead right now, and this is what I've been loving doing. Or you can make it really natural. So it's just a very, very unique product in that regard and very, very versatile. So I love this formula. This is one of my favorite products that was launched in 2024. So I'm tapping it in. I'm not swiping. I'm not digging it back and forth. I'm not digging up the foundation. I'm not scooping it up. I'm not disrupting it. I'm just tapping it on. And now that I'm on my second coat, I'm switching to even lighter pressure. So I really just kind of tap it in nicely and lay it really nicely on top of the foundation. Now I'm going to go do a little sculpty sculpt like this. Okay. Get all these hairs out of the way. I am trying currently to train my grown out bangs to be more curtain-like, but I find that my hair has a pretty gnarly cowlick. I mean, my hair is like, it just wants to do what it wants to do, and it doesn't care at all what I want it to do. So my hair wants to literally like curl in like a C and a half moon on the side of my face. It wants to curl in like a scoop around my eyes. The opposite of what I'm trying to train it to do, which is be curtain-like and like kind of go in like this. It's a disaster over here. So I'm trying to pin my hair back in different ways than what you're used to seeing me, which is like slicked back. Because obviously I'm training it to do the opposite of what it's used to doing. So I need to start pinning it back slightly different. It's a whole thing. Who would have thought growing out your bangs is like such a task? But apparently it is. All right, so tapping that in nice and gently. And we're gonna also do some on the nose. Now here's the thing about the nose. You really don't have to worry about the placement. You can just get it on your nose. It's gonna look really funny. You can just get it on your nose, okay? And your lip. I love to use this product to sculpt my lip. Love it for that. And I'm going to switch my brush though. I'm going to switch to my N16 and just lightly press it in. And the reason why you don't really have to push this product so hard into your skin is because once it dries down, it stays put. So it really is self-setting in that regard. So you don't have to worry so much about like using the same amount of pressure as I did with my foundation, for example. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. This is something I've also really been enjoying doing, is sculpting with this product in the inner part of my brow bone. If that's what it's called, right? Is this my brow bone? Yeah, it's my brow bone. It's called something else. I'll think of it, or maybe you'll think of it and tell me in the comments, please. I'll be waiting. So just sculpting in here, giving my eye socket a really nice amount of dimension. Like I'm looking on camera on my monitor and it looks really nice and just more open and defined. Same brush, I'm just going to gently blend out the bronzer on my lip. And now we can move on to concealer. And going back to that YSL All Hours. Now off camera, I did add a little bit of this concealer underneath my brow. I also did my brows off camera to save time. This is a Nikki and cut, and those always are longer videos by the nature of them because they're not cut. So I'm gonna add that same concealer And I'm going to line it up along the side of my nose. And this is going to be, this next couple of steps are going to be crucial to your makeup really lasting and looking flawless all day, okay? So very thin concealer, and because of that, you want to let this really dry down and self-set. I talk about this a lot. This is very important when you want your makeup to not only maintain the coverage, but also to stay put and just last. So we're going to apply this in all the areas that we want it, right? So I'm going to highlight. I'm going to lift my eyes like that. Huge difference over here. And then I'm also going to do a little highlighting between my brows. Nothing too major. Okay, so like that. And we'll do a little highlighting on the chin as well. Okay, so now one of my favorite things to do when I want my makeup to stay put on my face is I do a round of setting sprays once my concealer has been on, once my bronzer has been blended out, and obviously once my foundation is on. I go between quite a few, honestly. The other one is not close by, but I love the Vive setting spray. I've been using that nonstop. It's actually in my purse right now, so I can't run and get it, but I love that one from Vive. It's so, so nice. It is scented. Classic, old school. I just stole this. Sorry, that's Mitch calling me. Sorry, Mitch. Hold on. It's a Nikki cut. I have to call you back. I stole this from my makeup kit because the cap, I broke it. I dropped off a very high up table. So this one is now gifted to me. I love this one. It's a staple in my makeup kit. And I also love the mask fit from Tier Tier. I think, you know what, let's go with the mask fit from Tier Tier. I want to use this up before it goes bad. And I really like this formula. It's also very inexpensive and you can get it on Amazon. So shake it up. This is going to be our first round of many to come of setting sprays. So all over, I have to close my eyes. And you want to properly drench your skin, okay? Now I'm going to speed it up like I typically do. You don't have to do this. You could find something else to do in the meantime. I'm just going to do a little quick 10-15 seconds of this just to speed this up for just timing purposes. Okay, that's better. While this is still drying down and continuing to dry down, I'm going to grab one of my favorite products, very old school. I'm happy to have this back in my life. It's the MAC Paint Pots, particularly in the shade Painterly. I'm going to go grab that same N16 brush. This is my favorite kind of brush to use for like cream eyeshadows, eyeshadow primers, eyeshadow bases, shimmery cream eyeshadows, you name it. If it's a cream in a pot, this brush will apply it so evenly and easy. So I'm tapping it all over my eyelid. Now, if you have oily eyelids and you find that your makeup and your eye makeup, especially your eyeshadow, just does not stay, then you have to get yourself a good eyeshadow primer. Now, sometimes this isn't enough for oily skin or oily eyelids, to prevent the eyeshadow from creasing. So there's another step you should definitely be taking if you want your eye makeup to last all day. So first of all, push the product onto the lid. After you've evenly distributed it, push it onto the lid. So now I'm pushing this on to my lid. I'm not blending back and forth. I'm just pushing it and pressing it, just like I did with the foundation. Before we set this, we're gonna let this dry down a little bit more, kind of acclimate to my skin. We're gonna go back to the N14, and now it's time to blend out. Okay, so now we're gonna blend out the forehead. Once you blend out the edges and there's no visible edges, then you can go and tap in and push in. So same thing, I'm gonna push in, tapping and pushing that product into my complexion. We're still not even going in a back and forth motion yet. We're still just pushing it and pushing it. But the amount of coverage that you maintain if you let your concealer self-set and dry down is huge. It's just huge. It's a game changer. So same thing, pushing it, pushing it. It's looking nice and flawless. And again, this is gonna allow us to use a lot less powder. Even when we want our makeup to last all day, it's gonna allow us to use a lot less powder than we normally would if we had just gone straight in and tried to blend out a really wet concealer. Okay, so pushing it, pushing it. I do a little zit right here. I'm just gonna kind of bring it down a little bit, even though it's a lighter shade. Okay, we're looking good. I mean, and you'll notice I still really have not done much blending, but now I'm gonna switch my motion and blend out the nose just a bit, just to marry these two worlds together a touch more. All right. So we have a nice amount of highlight. We still have some sculpting, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go back to my N17 and just marry those two worlds together even more. Push that setting spray into my complexion even more. Okay, just like that. I mean, our makeup is locked into my skin. Like it should be, if you're trying these techniques at home, your makeup is gonna be locked in for good, for all day. Now, one of the other non-negotiables, if you want your makeup to last all day and just stay put, is to layer. You have to, and I hate saying the word you have to. I hate being that aggressive about it, but it is the truth. It's just the reality. Makeup artists know this, bridal makeup artists know this, especially if you want your makeup on your client to last, or if you want it to last on yourself, you have to layer. So this is the only, like, one of the only hard rules that I will put emphasis on with makeup. Otherwise, I don't like telling you what to do, but the reality is, if you want your makeup to last, you have to layer it. So we're gonna start with a liquid. I have been hooked on these L'Oreal Lumi liquid blushes. They're so pretty, they're so long lasting, and they're easy to work with, and they're a bargain, pretty much. This is Dewy Worth It. It's a peachy shade. Now, they're shockingly pigmented, okay? So start small if you're unsure how much pigment and blush you want for your makeup look that you're going for. Same N17 brush. Yes, it has foundation on it. It has a little bit of bronzer on it. It is okay. Don't even worry. But this is one of the reasons why you need to clean your brushes more often, especially for your complexion brushes. This is one of the reasons. If you're like me and you use one brush to multitask and do a whole lot of things, then you're going to end up washing that brush much more often than you would just using that brush for one product. So I'm lightly tapping this in. This is where we're slowing down the amount of pressure significantly. We're not using huge amounts of pressure, because what that would do is it would start to affect the products that are layered underneath, and you do not want to disrupt those layers because they're all liquid and they're all staying on top of each other very harmoniously right now. But if you start applying way too much pressure, like we did initially when we were laying down like the foundation and the foundation of this look, literally, then you would start to break it up, lift it up, and it would start to almost create like a muddied effect with your products. So tapping it in nice and lightly. I always know if my pinky is out, then that usually means I have the right amount of pressure going on. If my pinky is like this, I know I'm probably being too rough. So if pinky's out and just chilling with us and all loosey-goosey, then it's usually good. It's usually the right amount of pressure. Okay, with whatever's left over, you know me, I had to put it on my nose. It just looks so pretty and fresh, just like that. So Lumi blush is done. We are gonna set it with a powder, but not yet. Now we're gonna go do something a little different. Instead of using the mask fit from Tear Tear that we used earlier, we're gonna infuse one light layer of the One Size Until Dawn. Yes, you could put this on your makeup, not just after everything is on, like all the powders and everything is on. You can use this in layers in between, pre-makeup, during makeup, during another step of your makeup, and then of course post as many times as you want. I'm gonna take a deep breath because I'm not gonna breathe this in, so hold please. Okay, it's all over. If you're oily, that's gonna be your best friend. It's gonna be honestly one of your best kept tools in your makeup collection for your oily skin. Now we need to start doing powders, okay? For long-lasting makeup, I've been just hooked on the Makeup by Mario, so much so that I pretty much never put the cap on because it's always open and I'm always putting it on. So it's the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. I wear the shade Fair Pink. Ultimately, it doesn't really give off a pink hue. It's just very nice and neutral. Before I do that, we're going to go back to the N16 brush. We're going to make sure there's no creases. There's no areas that we don't want to lock into place that have any kind of too much product buildup, basically. And then we're also going to reblend the eyes because we're going to set the eyes as well. And this is going to be something you should not skip. Back to the N14. Taking a decent amount in the cap. Tap off the excess. Press. Don't swipe it. Press it. Can you tell there's a theme with long-lasting makeup? Layers and pressing. So pressing, pushing, and pushing this into my skin. Okay, not buffing, nothing like that. Buffing is when you want it to be more natural. Pressing is when you want it to be locked in and not move. Okay, I always get around my mouth because I actually get very oily around my lips and my mouth. Okay, round 2, dipped into more powder. Still tapping off the excess so it's not like a overwhelming amount of powder. And we are going to layer it, and I'm going to do a mini bake, and I'll teach you how to do it in a nice natural way. But first, a light layer just to lock it all in and to essentially dry everything down. Dip into more powder. Let's now lock in the eyelids. And this is how you get eye makeup that doesn't move. That is how you do it. Going to decrease the shine on my forehead. I always like to leave the tip of my nose pretty shiny just to add some balance so it's not super flat, super overly matte. But don't worry, it's gonna look really matte right now. We're gonna infuse more shine as we're finishing this makeup. So don't be alarmed. It's okay if you end up looking this matte right now because it's not gonna end up that way at the very end of this tutorial. All right, makeup is on, powder is set, we're locked in, all that good stuff. Now we're gonna set the bronzer and we're gonna start our first round of eyeshadow. For that, I'm gonna use the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronzer. I wear the shade 02. I just picked this up for myself. A huge fan of this in my pro kit. I love this product. It's a really beautiful bronzer. And I think what I'm gonna do, instead of using my tried and true 104 from BK Beauty, I'm actually gonna use a clean Angie Hot and Flashy A507. This has an angle on it. And what we're going to do is tap into it. Now the 104 is phenomenal if you want like a nice natural wash of bronzer. And I can use this, and I do use this when I want long lasting makeup as well. However, if I want to really push the bronzer to lock in the liquid bronzer and keep it in place, I'll use something a little bit more stiff. I guess you could say that's more of a fluffy brush. This is more densely packed. And then you want to pounce and basically stamp on the bronzer like this. So no swiping, no buffing, working in very thin layers so it's not overwhelming, and just tapping this on. Pressing it on, tapping it on, locking in our bronzer and the baby hairs and all that stuff. Same thing, we're gonna just do a little bit around the cheekbone. Now, I'm not trying to contour my nose. I'm just gonna push a little bit of this on the sides of my nose just to give it a little bit more warmth. Using the side of the brush. It doesn't have to be a super small brush. You can if you want, but it's not exactly necessary. You can definitely just push this onto the nose and get the same natural effect. Okay, that's on. Now we're gonna switch to my N13 brush with BK Beauty. Same bronzer. This is one of my favorite things to do just in life in general, and that is run whatever bronzer I'm going to use on my face. I run this all across the crease of my eye to the point where it almost connects to the side of my nose. And this just gives the most cohesive, beautiful, pro-like look to your makeup. I highly encourage you to try this out. You'll be shocked at what a subtle difference this will make. So this is going to be our first wash of color all across the crease. And it's going to blend on so effortless and so smooth because our eyelids, excuse me, are very well primed, smooth, and matte. And they're also, I mean, they're fully set. So that means whatever powder eyeshadow you put on top, it's not going to skip. It's not going to look patchy. It's going to go glide on so smooth and just like effortlessly. So this is a game changer if you struggle with your eye makeup creasing, not lasting, fading throughout the day. Try these steps and you will never have that complaint again. So I'm just dipping into the bronzer off camera, I'm just dipping back in, layering more. You don't have to worry about the pressure that you're applying with this. The eyes are fully set underneath. So unless you put something really wet on top, you wouldn't disrupt those layers of primer and powder. Just going back and forth till I'm happy with the amount of color payoff that I'm getting. It's a really light bronzer, which I really prefer. It's easier to work with lighter bronzers. So if you're intimidated by bronzer, a really good tip to keep in mind is when you're shopping for bronzer, try to shop for one that's only a shade or two being like the max, deeper than your complexion, because it'll be just so much easier to work with. You won't make that mistake of over applying your bronzer. It'll be much harder to do so anyway. And it will just look really soft and seamless. So this may not look very dark on camera, which is good. It's just gonna look, it's gonna give you that extra warmth without being over the top. All right, I'm happy with that amount. I'm gonna switch gears to an N12 brush. Same bronzer. We're gonna add a little bit to the bottom lash line. This is a great technique also. If you ended up putting just too much concealer and powder under your eyes, this will actually buff off that excess, making it look overall more natural on the bottom lash line and also defining your lash line. And if you have a lot of redness under your eyes like I do, this is also an amazing way to camouflage that redness. Trying to get right up in there, scooping back and forth. I should also call out too, this bronzer is, it's an all hours, the title is all hours, right? So it's a very long wearing bronzer, just like the concealer. So I'm a big fan of this collection. The foundation, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm a huge fan of the concealer and the bronzer. And I do think they came out with blushes recently too. I have to pick one up. I mean, I don't need to, but for the sake of testing out for you guys, I do need to pick it up. Okay, I picked out, I forgot I picked this out for this look. Another YSL product. I did get this in PR. They sent me this and I was very excited because it's a pricey palette. This is the Couture Mini Clutch. It just says the shade is 200. I'll link it below if you're interested in it. It's a really pretty, like rosy, warm palette. Really, really pretty. I'm going to grab the BK Beauty 206 brush. This is like the ultimate one and done eyeshadow brush. If you want one that's just going to pack on a color and also blend it into the crease, and you want something like really simple and easy to work with, the 206 you should definitely have in your collection. This is like a core essential eyeshadow brush, you know? So I'm packing it on. I'm laying it on the bulk of my eyelid, pressing it on, getting it all over. I want this to be a really soft, pretty, rosy tone eye makeup look. Just something soft and kind of more feminine. So now I'm blending it into the crease and into the bronzer. Just like that. Going back to my N12, same shadow. We're going to layer this along the bottom lash line. Now this makeup look is not going to move, which is just great. I have peace of mind knowing that I have a full day ahead of me and my makeup is not going to move at all. Same 206 brush. I'm going to dip now into the shade below it, which is a deeper rose. Tap off the excess. This palette does have quite a bit of fallout, just a little FYI. So it's not the, it can be a little difficult to work with in that regard. But I do find the formulas are still worth checking out. They're still really nice shadows. So I'm adding this into the crease on the outer corner, like that. Let me grab my N13 that has the remaining bronzer on it and just diffuse that edge. Make it seamless. Ooh, I have eyeshadow in my eye. Same thing. And again, if you ever want to see the whole process, if you're new here, you see the entire blending process. I'm going to start to bring this in and across the crease. Just with whatever's left over, I'm not dipping into more because I want it to be a gradual darkest on the outer corner and then gradually going lighter as I get towards the inner part of my eye. Now something's looking a little patchy over here, so let me grab that N13 again. Blend that out. Back to the N12, same deeper shade that we just used. Apply to the bottom lash line. Get it nice, monochromatic. Now before we move on too much, I'm going to go back to my N14 brush, dip into an excess amount of the Makeup by Mario powder, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to brighten, and we're going to do a mini bake. Yes, I know it's 2025, but don't let anyone make you feel bad if you want to do a mini bake in 2025. It is okay. You do you. And for me, if I want my under eyes to look extremely flawless all day long, this is what you got to do. And if you have really oily skin in the center of your face, especially on the sides of your nose like I do, I get really oily on the side of my nose particularly. So if I want my makeup to actually stay put, last all day, this is something I need to do. If you are ultra dry, please skip this step. So I'm taking more and I'm enhancing and reverse contouring my nose by doing this step. So it's going to reverse contour, meaning it's going to brighten the sides of my nose, bring out that light amount of contour that we applied way earlier, enhance it in a nice natural way. Another thing I like to do is hit the sides of my lips. Like I mentioned, around my lips get really, really oily throughout the day, and it really bothers me. So that is on. We're going to skip back to eyes, finish up the eyes now that we're doing the bake. It'll be the perfect amount of time for this to bake while I'm doing my eyeliner. So I grabbed a new refill of the Kulfi. This is the Underline Kajal eyeliner in Cheeky Chiku. And it's a dark brown that is so, so gorgeous. We're going to tightline, and we're going to also bring this on the top lash line. So I'm going to do the top lash line first. Starting in this outer corner. We're going to get a rough wing. Now on its own, this is a decently long wearing eyeliner. It's also just really easy to apply. It glides on really nice and smooth, which I really appreciate. I don't have to tug at my eyes and my delicate eye skin in order to get this on. So I love it for that reason, but also when you set it into place, then it becomes budge proof. Okay. And excuse me ahead of time, this always makes my nose run a little bit and causes some allergies, so bear with me. Gotta shake it off. Skip to this side. I'm gonna do the initial wing. Once I have that on, I'm gonna drag this across my lash line. Getting it as close to my lash line as possible so it's nice and tapered. I don't want a thick line going all across my eyes. That makes my eyes look very small and very beady. Okay, tight lining. Done. Whew. Okay, almost immediately we're gonna blend this out. I'm gonna grab my N11 brush, go back to the YSL palette because there's a beautiful dark brown in this palette. We're gonna dip into that. And this is how you get your eyeliner to stay put all day. I should probably start on this side. I'm gonna stamp this right on top. Now, another reason why I wanted to get that powder on my under eyes before I did this is because this dark brown, I noticed, does have even more fallout than the other shadows in this palette. Whew. And, you know, this is one of those looks, those makeup looks, it's really timeless. Anyone could do it. It's a no-fail in that regard. It's going to look good on everyone. It's very digestible to do. You know, it's nothing too ornate, too crazy. It's just a very simple eye makeup look with simple techniques. And sometimes classic like this is just, you can't go wrong. You really just can't go wrong. Okay, I just messed up my eye makeup. You're going to see me fix it. Went a little too thick over there. But again, stamping this on top of the eyeliner that we applied earlier. We grab the N14. We buff out the mini bake, the little baby bake. Okay, buff that off. We grab the Angie Han Flashy A505 that I used much earlier to place this under my brow bone to carve out my brows. Clean this up with just whatever is left over. Like that. Easy peasy, and then you're done. Grabbing the M Cosmetics, this is the Shape Shift Tubing Mascara. Really like this formula. Love the wand. It comes off easy, and it is a nice, like, it's an actual, like, tubing mascara. So I'm going to do the first round of mascara. Now, tubing mascara in particular is one of the reasons why I grabbed this one for this video, is because tubing mascara is very long wearing. It doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, it just creates a tube on your lashes, and typically speaking, if you get a good formula like this one, it just does not move. So great for an all-day wear. Great if you don't want to have mascara running on your face later on in the day. I still am going to avoid putting this on my bottom lash line because it just feels risky. So I just avoid it. So getting my second coat on. Eyes are looking good. A part of me wants to keep this look matte, like my eye makeup matte, but there is a really pretty shimmer in this palette. I'm tempted to use it. No, you know what? I think I'm going to keep it all matte. And can we talk about the difference that this mascara makes? It is quite impactful. Like, look at that. Really good, underrated formula. Okay, now we have to layer more blush on for this long-lasting makeup. And I'm trying to get my money's worth because I bought this for myself as a treat. I bought the Hourglass Dragon palette. I believe it's sold out. However, most of these blushes, they all come individually. All these products, all these tones come individually. They sell them individually anyway at Hourglass. So I'm going to use this palette. I will link the palette if I could find it available. If not, I'll find a similar shade to one of the blushes that I'll link instead. I'm going to go with the more peachy one. I'm going to use the back side now of my N17. Dip into this shade. And this is a palette that I love traveling with because I have so many usable shades all in one. I can also use this on my eyes. It's a really beautiful palette. This is why I treat myself to one for the last, 2 years. I have the leopard palette still. So I'm tapping it on because, again, just a reminder, don't disrupt those layers of makeup that are carefully applied and now set. Just layer it on top. Gonna sweep the rest across my nose. And then we're gonna take the same brush. I'm gonna dip into both of these highlighters. This is my favorite thing to do. Both of the highlighters. And this is the only time we're gonna do a soft sweeping motion. Adding these to the top of my cheekbone. Look how pretty that is. It's just such a beautiful palette. It really is. Look at that glow. It's like a filtered glow in a powder. Same brush, running back and forth, both those same highlighters. I'm going to hit the very top of the bridge of my nose. This is how I like to highlight my nose, especially as an oily girly. I don't want a landing strip of glow. I want to be in between. I want to have some balance and some satin finish. You don't want to just go down your nose with highlighter. It's just not, it's not the vibe. It's not the vibe. You need balance. So to have that balance, I'm just doing the tip of my nose and the very top of the bridge. Now, I don't normally do this, but let's just add a little glow to my lip. Makeup is looking good. It's feeling good. We're going to do another round before we do lip of the Mask Fit from Tear Tear. Get it all over. Speed it up. That was cold. Have it soak in. Now, last round of one more thing, okay? Take the teeniest bit more of your powder and just hit where you have larger pores. For me, that's right here, okay? It's our last round of locking in and ensuring that our skin looks flawless all day and is secure. Okay, now we can move on to lips, and I'm going to bring back an old school product that I wear a lot off camera. I've been sharing it a little bit more. I recently restocked all my favorite shades of this in my professional makeup kit. So if you caught that video, I posted that a week ago. Last Nikki Uncut. This is the Chanel Longer Lipstick. It's the double-ended formula. So you have the color on one side and then you have this sealer on this side. This locks it into place for like literally an all-day wear. Eating, drinking, doesn't matter. It's not going to move. But I'm going to pair it with, and by the way, this is the shade Intense Caramel, one of my personal favorites. I'm going to pair it with the Charlotte Tilbury, very iconic lip color. It's the Lip Cheat in the shade Pillow Talk 2. I don't like the Pillow Talk 1 shade. It's way too light pink. But Pillow Talk 2 and 3, like Intensity 2 and 3, are magnificent shades. So Intensity 2, I'm going to line my lips. Sorry about that. Now, one thing I will say about the Charlotte Tilbury is it can feel a little dry when you first put on. It's a bit more of a dry formula, but with that said, that just means it's going to last. It's going to stay put so much longer than like a more creamy, more glossy finish lip liner. This is what you want to start out with, more matte like this, and end up feeling a little bit more dry because that's going to keep your lipstick on so much longer. So in this case, it's your best friend. Now, a little tip, take the side of the pencil, shade the center and the middle of your lip for like an actual budge-proof lip. This is especially important if you're not going to use a longer lip like the one I'm about to put on. So sharing it for that reason more specifically. Because if you're just putting a regular lipstick, like a bullet lipstick on top, or even like, you know, a balm or a gloss, by shading in your lip, it's like adding a primer to your lip. Going now with the Intense Caramel from Chanel. These are pricey, but boy, they're so worth it if you have an all-day event or if you just work really long hours and you want your lip to look nice, not dry, and still feel nice. These are worth the investment. It is such a good shade. While this is drying down just a touch, I have to do one quick thing that I forgot to do, which is just finish my brows a bit more. I'm going to grab my Maybelline Build a Brow and just do a couple more strokes to complete my brows. Kind of wakes them back up. Oops. Enough. You know, they're sisters, not twins. Don't forget. Okay, final step. One of the second to last final step, excuse me, is the sealing part of this Chanel lipstick. Apparently I do need more coffee. We're gonna add this top coat. And this, my friends, is what quite literally locks it in, adds really pretty shine, and it also adds that comfort back to your lips. So if you have more dry lips, if you don't like the feeling of having like a tight liquid lipstick on your lips, this part will change the way you feel about a longer product like that. Final step to making this makeup last all day long, and I'm telling you, this will last until I am washing it off with a cleansing balm or cleansing oil. This will stay put and not move. And if you utilize these techniques of layering and pushing the product in and the stippling techniques that I share with you, I promise you, you don't need a primer. You could skip it. Do your normal skincare, do these techniques, and your makeup will stay put all day. But get yourself some good setting sprays. These are the best. So final round of the Until Dawn. Make sure you felt that all over your face, wherever you didn't feel it. And this is what I have my clients tell me all the time. Like, did you feel that everywhere? And they're usually honest with me. And they're like, no, not here, more here. And I won't stop until they tell me, okay, I am doused. I felt that everywhere. Thank you very much. And now I have it in my throat. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that is the final step. This is how I get my makeup to last through thick and thin and whatever I am doing that day. I hope you found this informative and helpful. And if you watch any of my other videos on how to get your makeup to last all day, you're going to recognize some of these steps and techniques, but it's a good refresh and a good reminder on how to get your makeup to just stay put. Now, if you have any tips on how to train your bangs to be more curtain-like, please leave them in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. I need all the help I can get. But this is the finished look. It's still soft. It's nice and monochromatic with the tones that we chose. I feel really pretty, which is always a plus. And that's the look. It's going to stay put all day. I don't have to worry about the lipstick moving or getting on my teeth. It is locked in and solid. So I hope you enjoy this. Leave me a comment if you try any of these techniques. And let me know if you see a massive improvement in how long your makeup wears. I promise you, you will. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider right here. I love you all so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye. All right, after that video, you should be set up for all the success in the world on how to keep your makeup on all day, how to get it to last all day. Now let's jump into something that's a little bit different. This one is a really fun one. I had a lot of fun filming this one, and I really liked the idea behind it. It was all about if you were going to Sephora with me. Let's say we were holding hands, we were strolling the aisles together, we had our little shopping basket ready to go, ready to pile on with stuff. If you had me with you, maybe if it was just in your back pocket or in your ear while you're walking around Sephora, these are the products I would tell you to buy and the products that you should just skip. So if you ever wonder what it'd be like to go shopping with me at Sephora, this video will hopefully give you that same feeling and that same kind of vibe. So without further ado, let's watch together buy this, not that, during the Sephora savings event. During the Sephora savings event, wouldn't it be so nice if you had a friend just holding your hand, walking down the aisles with you, telling you, buy this, don't buy that? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I share all my recommendations of what to get and what not to get, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Sephora for continuing to support this YouTube channel and for partnering with me on today's video. So if you have not already signed up to be a Beauty Insider member, it's free to join, it's quick, it's easy. As always, I'm going to have a link right here so you can jump on there, sign up today, start earning a point on every dollar you spend, both in store, online, at Sephora, at Kohl's, wherever you shop. And speaking of wherever you shop, there's also buy online, pick up in store, as well as same day delivery options, making it absolutely super easy to shop however you prefer. I like to walk in store. I like to see my friends. I like to get their recommendations. You know the drill, but there's also times I'm in a super big hurry and I just want to do the same day delivery option because it's really quick and really easy. So without further ado, let's get into what to buy, what not to buy during the Sephora savings event. Now, of course, before we get into it, let me just preface this by saying that this is based on all the products that I have tried personally. Now, there's a good handful of products I have not tried yet. They're in my cart. I plan on picking them up. If you caught my video previously, you'll know exactly what those items are. So this is going to be based on what I have tried so far. And again, I haven't tried everything yet. I'm trying. I'm making my way there. So these are going to be based on that. Okay, we're going to kick things off with setting spray. And again, this is going to be rapid fire because I have a ton of products and I want to make this quick and efficient so you're not sitting here forever trying to figure out what's going to be best for you to pick up during the Sephora savings event. So skip this from Makeup by Mario. It just does a whole lot of nothing in my opinion. I tried it a million times, honestly, and I just couldn't get this to perform or even just notice a difference in terms of like the longevity of my makeup, how my makeup laid on my skin. It pretty much did nothing in my opinion. I know it sounds a little harsh, but I would definitely skip this and instead buy any of these. The Fenty Beauty UMist is going to be great for all skin types, whereas the Impeccable setting spray from Anastasia Beverly Hills is going to be my #1 pick for oily skin. Okay, next category is going to be stick foundations. Buy any of these and please skip these. Here's why. The Dior stick foundation is going to be best suited for anyone who has dry skin, combination dry skin, or anyone who has normal skin and wants a little bit of extra glow to their complexion. This is going to give you almost a full coverage, but it's also very buildable. So if you just do a couple swipes, you'll get a nice medium coverage, but you could definitely layer it up and build up to be quite a full coverage stick foundation. Easy to blend, blends in like butter, but if you are oily, stay away from this one. The Bosma Beauty Stick is going to be best for all skin types, in my opinion. If you are really oily, you're going to have to touch up a little bit throughout the day. That's just natural. This gives you a beautiful satin finish. It's very buildable, very long wearing, and just unbelievably easy to use. And then a close runner up, and this used to be one of my favorites until I tried the Bosma, just to be fully honest, but it's still a really great honorable mention, a really great formula that's really easy to work with, really easy to blend on, and just overall gives you a beautiful finish to your skin. It's the LYS No Limits Stick Foundation. This is a great product. Definitely worth checking out. Great price range and an overall great pick if you're looking for a good solid stick foundation that isn't horribly expensive. And don't buy the Hourglass Stick Foundation. This is very pricey, and honestly, it can look very heavy and sit very heavy and almost borderline cakey on your skin if you're not properly prepping it the right way. Let's say you have any dry patches. Let's say you haven't exfoliated in a while. This will cling to certain areas of your skin, looking pretty unflattering. And at this kind of price tag, it's just not worth risking. So skip this one. Buy those other three instead. It does give a full coverage, but it just doesn't beat the Bosma. Another one to skip is the one from Merit. Now this one is very hyped up. I don't really understand the hype behind it. I don't understand why people love it so much. This is just my honest opinion. I think a way better buy overall is going to be the Bosma one. Way creamier, way easier to blend out, lasts incredibly long in your skin, looks unbelievably flawless, looks almost airbrushed on your skin. This one to me sits really unflattering on any areas where you might have some dryness, some texture issues, some larger pores. I would avoid this one completely. Buy the Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Foundation if you have dry skin and you want an overall beautiful lit from within type glow. And I hate to say it because I do enjoy this foundation, but when it comes to this or that and what to skip and what to buy, I'd say don't get the Patrick Ta Major Skin Foundation. It's a little overly glowy, and the problem with this one is even if you have severely dry skin, it just never dries down, and that's my biggest concern. So if you're looking for longevity with a beautiful glow that lasts all day, great for dry skin, great to give you like that extra nourishing like drink of water to your complexion, the Fenty is going to be a better pick overall because it's more long lasting, it's more performing, like higher performance than the Patrick Ta, because the Patrick Ta just doesn't dry down. So buy this one, not this one. If you're dry and you want a good glow that lasts all day, this is the one to get. If you are super oily and you're looking for a solid full coverage flawless foundation, buy the Anastasia Impeccable Foundation. You will not regret it. It's incredible. I did hear that they're expanding their shade range, so thank God. But this one will look so gorgeous on your skin. Less is more. But if you're looking for full coverage and you're also really oily, this is the one to get. Now, this one also pains me to say, but I would say don't buy this one. If you had to choose between those two, I think they're very comparable formulas. That's why they're matched together. But I would say don't get the one size. Turn up the base only because had this not come out, I would have been recommending this, but since this one has come out, it's just beat it. And I had to be really honest. So if you're debating between either of these two, if you're a full coverage lover and you have oily skin, pick up this one, not this one. Not that it's bad. It's still a fantastic formula. You'll see me wear it. I still love it. But my Anastasia has beat it out. Don't waste your money on the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint. It's watery. It slips off your skin. It offers absolutely no coverage and no longevity. Save your money. Buy the Reveal the Real from Sephora. This is so inexpensive. It's 30% off right now. And this will give you a beautiful finish to your skin, good for all skin types, incredibly long wearing, easy to blend out, and actually gives you a beautiful amount of coverage that still looks like skin. If you are very dry and you want a very lightweight feeling, very moisturizing, very hydrating feeling skin tint, don't buy the one from Makeup Forever. To me, this one's just a little disappointing in my opinion. It's a little bit more difficult to work with. It's not very satisfying in terms of like the wear time and the way it looks on my skin throughout the day. Instead, I would suggest absolutely the Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint from Danessa Myricks. A little bit goes a really long way. The wear time on this is amazing, especially if you want that glowy, luminous look to your skin, like that extra hydration and that serum-like feeling. This is going to give you all that and more, but it's also going to wear a really long time, whereas the Makeup Forever did not wear a very long time, in my opinion. Both are not going to be your best suit for oily skin. Keep that in mind. This is going to be for more dry leaning, or combination dry skin types. If you're looking for that perfect skin tint that just goes with anyone at any time, then definitely pick up the Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. This is absolutely worth the money. It is not cheap, but it is so absolutely worth it in terms of the formula, the way it wears, and the way it looks on your skin. You will get so many compliments wearing this skin tint. I promise you that. So definitely buy this one and skip these Summer Fridays. This is the Sheer Skin Tint. This just doesn't do enough. And texture-wise, they're almost identical in my opinion. This one does feel a teeny bit more watery, but this just doesn't wear like the Hourglass does. It gives the same amount of coverage, but the wear time on this one is just not it. So if you're going to buy a sheer skin tint, you want it to still last on your skin. That's the whole point. It's going to be sheer, but you want it to still be there by the end of the day. This is not going to be there at the end of the day, but the Hourglass one will. So don't buy this one. Pick up the Hourglass one instead. You'll be really happy with that purchase, and buy it now when you can save, because it is pricey. I want you to buy the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. This is a moisturizing foundation. This is such a fantastic formula. This also has SPF 45 in it. This next one kind of pains me to say because I had really high hopes for this foundation and I do like it. I'm just not in love with it and I wouldn't go back out and repurchase it. But again, I really like it, really enjoying it. And drum roll please, because I don't want you to buy the new Hourglass foundation. And again, it pains me to say it, but it's not one of those products that I want to grab every single day. It's more of like, I like it, I enjoy it when I wear it, but I do forget about it. This is still a beautiful foundation. It's still really lovely. You'll still enjoy it. However, there's just so many more formulas that I like more that I think are just overall a better buy. So that's why I say don't buy this one from Hourglass. And if you want something that is equal in terms of the coverage, in terms of the SPF that's in it, in terms of the way it blends on, and in terms of who it's for, this is going to be a very moisturizing foundation that gives you a beautiful glow. These are not going to be best suited for oily skin. Even though I do have oily skin, I still make this one from Estee Lauder work and I love the way it feels. I love the way it looks, but I do know throughout the day I'm going to be powdering it a lot. That's just the nature of the game. I suffer through it because it's that good. These will be much more better suited for dry skin, dry leaning skin, combination dry skin, severely dry skin, dry mature skin will love this foundation, but I still say skip the Hourglass. Don't buy this one. Buy this one instead. You'll be really, really happy you did. Next up, tinted serum based products. I want you to buy the CL Tint and Protect SPF 50, okay? SPF 50, that is huge in a skin tint. That's a great amount of coverage from the sun. The formula of this one is absolutely superb. It feels nourishing. I think it's good for all skin types. It is going to leave you glowy because it's a serum based product. That's the nature of the game. So you're going to powder down if you have more oily skin. But if you are normal, combo, combination dry, or really, really dry, I think you're going to absolutely love that formula. So I want you to buy the CL and I want you to please skip the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint. I have come across so many people who used to buy this because they felt talked into it, because it was hyped up, and it just wasn't good for their skin. It broke them out. I've had so many people complain about the way this looked on their skin, but they kept buying it. I'm like, you know, there's better formulas out there. You don't have to get this one. In my opinion, this one is just overly greasy, overly drippy, and runny on your skin. You can never set it down fully because it never fully dries down. Whereas the CL, you can absolutely dry this down. You can absolutely set this into place. This one, you can kind of build up the coverage, but not nearly as easy as the CL. They both have a dropper component. So if you like a dropper and you want a more serum based skin tint that's not overly greasy and overly oily on your skin, then you have to get the CL over the Ilia. Okay, now we're in primer territory and there's two primers I want to call out. Both are popular, both are a little bit more new. I'm not going to talk about every single primer that's at Sephora, just ones that are more new, more relevant. So in that case, I want you to buy the Cali Ray So Blown Clean Blurring Primer. This is a fantastic blurring, smoothing primer that works unbelievably well and actually does blur your skin. And don't buy the Easy Blur Primer because, to be honest, I felt like this did nothing to blur my skin. It just didn't do much of anything. This also feels just like an original primer that they had back in the day. It came in a jar, and I didn't like that texture back then, and I certainly don't like it in this tube now. So this one, I say don't pick up. Definitely, if you're looking for a smoothing primer that's going to blur your skin, this is the one to get, hands down. I want to mention really quickly too, if you find videos like this helpful and you've enjoyed any of my videos on my channel, please consider subscribing to the channel so I can see you more often. Hit the thumbs up and let's keep going. Okay, next up, pressed powders. Rapid fire, there's a ton of pressed powders at Sephora. I'm going to just keep it simple. Buy the Kosas Cloud Set powder. You will love it and you'll be obsessed with it. It works for all skin types. It's not the most mattifying, but it's really smoothing, really soft, and overall doesn't feel heavy on your skin. Amazing for dry skin, amazing for mature skin, amazing for dry mature skin, amazing if you want a lightweight, blurry, light as air type feeling pressed powder that doesn't add a heaviness or a cakiness to your skin, but actually does something. Get this one and definitely skip both of these. Now, initial thoughts, I like them, but in terms of being really picky with what you're picking up and what you're not picking up during the Sephora savings event, I gotta keep it real. Don't pick up either of these. So don't pick up the Rare Beauty pressed powder. This is fine. It just doesn't do a ton. And for the same reasons, do not pick up the Tower 28 pressed powder because overall, the Kosas is just a better buy and it just has them beat. So why go with those if you can get the best of the best, which is going to be the Kosas, in my opinion. Cream blushes is the next category. The Westman Atelier cream blushes, they come in a stick. These are always going to be a good buy and these are always going to be one of my top recommendations because they are phenomenal and definitely worth the money. But if you want to save, pick them up during this time. So any of the shades are beautiful. The formula is elite. You will not find a better formula in a cream blush. These are just some of the best that I've ever tried. And the Bosma Beauty, these are a new favorite of mine. These are fantastic cream blushes that blend in like butter. The color payoff is beautiful. They're really easy to work with and they just are a fantastic formula that lasts all day long. And don't buy these. The first one is the Natasha Denona High Blush. These are like a duo blush. They come with two shades. One is supposed to be like a highlighter. One's more of just a regular satin cream formula. These are just not worth the investment in my opinion. opinion, they're not overly priced, but they're just not worth adding to your collection. They're just not special enough, in my opinion, or unique enough. And the blend of these is a little bit difficult. These do tend to get a little patchy depending on what they're placed on top of and how you're blending them on top of your skin and what techniques you're using. So they're overall a little bit more difficult to work with. And the formula is a bit more finicky, so you're limited to what they're going to work best on top of, foundation wise, bronzer wise, and all those things. Whereas the West Atelier works no matter what technique you use, no matter what formula it's sitting on top of, it just never fails. Another one you should definitely not get, in my opinion, is the Makeup by Mario. This is a Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil. I can't get these to not go patchy. They lift up the makeup underneath, which is always a sure sign that it's not something I'm going to recommend, and it's not something that's easy to work with. They're quite finicky in that regard, and the color payoff is just not there. They're just not giving much. They give a whole lot of patchiness, and they give a whole lot of lifting up your foundation as you're blending them on. And unless you're using the most gentle amount of pressure, and I'm talking like they're going to lift up your foundation or your skin tint especially. So I would say don't pick this one up. And a new one that I picked up recently that I'm just going to say I don't suggest you pick up as well is the new Izumaya. The color payoff with these is just not there, and they do come with a highlighter on the other side, which overall is a little too greasy, a little too goopy, and does break up your makeup if you're trying to highlight the top of your cheeks. Just know it's going to lift your foundation up or your concealer or your powder, and it's not going to be fun. Buy any of these liquid blushes and don't buy these. Now, two of my favorite liquid blushes at the moment I'm going to talk about first are the Ciel Blush and Protect SPF 50, okay? SPF 50 in your blush, which is really nice for that added sun protection that we all could benefit from. And my Huda Beauty, the blush filters, these are phenomenal. The colors are gorgeous. The color payoffs are amazing. The way they blend, the way they wear, these are top notch. My only thing that I don't like about these is the stopper inside is a little hard to get the product out. So you end up going back and forth to get as much product as you want. And that's my only complaint if I had to really nitpick it. It's a small price to pay for a really excellent formula with really beautiful colors and great color payoff. Two other honorable mentions I want to just talk about because I think they're all great. This one will be my top recommendation. If you have texture in your skin, if you have larger pores, if you have anything happening on your cheeks that you want to minimize the appearance of and get like a blurred effect with the liquid blush, let's say you've been afraid of using a liquid blush because you think it's going to accentuate any pores, any larger texture that you have in this area, then don't fear this one. This is going to look so incredibly smoothing and blurring, hence the name. It's the Cali Ray Blurry Blush. These are so fantastic. My only complaint with these is also the stopper is really goopy and really messy. So let me just warn you, if you're wearing white, be really careful when you're taking this product out because it does goop over the edge and gets a little gunky and a little messy. But other than that, top-notch formula. You will love it. And the last honorable mention is the most natural one out of the liquid blushes that I'm recommending. It's the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint. These are more of a tint. So let's say you're not much of a blush person, like you want to be a soft wash of color and not so heavy on the pigment, then I got you. I would definitely pick up the Luminous Silk Cheek Tint because these are going to be a good buy and you'll be really happy with the color payoff. And also if you want to build it up, you can definitely build these up very easily. And then definitely don't buy the YSL Make Me Blush. These are a liquid blush. The formula is nothing special at all. The colors that they launched were just not well rounded. They were not well received, and the formula is just nothing special, especially for that price tag that you're getting with YSL. There's so many better liquid blushes like the ones I mentioned, so I would definitely say don't get this one. And this one may or may not be a surprise depending on if you've seen all my videos, but I would say definitely do not buy the liquid blushes from Hourglass. These are soupy, they're too watery, and they're really difficult to work with. Unless you shake these up for an hour and a half, and I'm not kidding you, okay? Then they end up coming out really watery and they separate your makeup. So when you're layering this on top of anything other than bare skin, they're really difficult to work with, just my opinion. I know some of you love them. I don't think they're worth the price tag and I don't think they're worth the hype at all. I would say don't get these because they're frustrating. Buy these loose powders and don't buy these. Buy the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder if you have oily skin, if you have combination skin, if you have normal skin, if you like a full glam moment, okay? If you like to actually bake your makeup, or if you just want to look flawless from morning until midnight, this is the powder to get. Incredible shade range to choose from. One of my personal favorites is Cherry Blossom Cake and Cupcake. Cherry Blossom Cake is one of the best pink tinted powders on the market, in my opinion. This will give you blurred, flawless, airbrush skin that lasts literally all day. A great runner-up and also great for all skin types. So if you are combination, if you're dry, if you're oily, but really ultimately, if you're dry leaning or if you have more mature skin, I think that you would definitely love the Makeup by Mario. The Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder is definitely one to check out. So in my opinion, great for all skin types, but not going to be as mattifying as the Huda. So if you're really oily, get the Huda. If you're anything other than really oily, then you'll really like the Makeup by Mario. If you're looking for a powder that that's specifically talc free, that's still high performance, that's the one to get. Honorable mention, and not necessarily my top pick or my first loose powder that I would suggest you go out and get. Those would be the first ones as of right now that I would suggest you pick up during the Sephora savings event. But an honorable mention that I am still testing and really enjoying. And I want to call out specifically, I think this is a great powder for more mature skin or anyone who wants more of a natural, soft finish to their loose powder, like their loose setting powder. And something to call out too, it took me a minute, but I realized this is just the exact same formula as the pressed powder, but in a loose form. I think that's why I'm really enjoying it, but I will say it's not beating the press. The press is just, there's something about it that's very, very magical and just unbelievably flattering on your skin. This one does have some shimmer in it. It's not that noticeable unless you see it in certain lighting. Same with the Makeup by Maro. The Makeup by Maro is going to have some shimmer in it as well. Very small, micro amounts, but it's there. So just know there's a little bit of a luminous look to it that you'll catch glimpses of depending on what lighting you're in. This has that as well. Now, talk about bang for your buck. You get a ton of loose powder for the amount that this is. This is a great buy if you want a ton of loose powder for a really reasonable price. Now, my only complaint with this powder is I feel like they're missing some shades in their range. They're missing some neutrals in the middle to like fill some gaps, but other than that, the formula is beautiful. I think this is going to be best suited for dry skin. If you're really, really oily, this is not going to be the powder that's going to blot your skin to perfection all day long. You're going to be shiny throughout the day. So if that is your skin type, definitely go for the Huda Beauty. If you are more combination, if you're normal, or if you're dry or really dry, then definitely this is worth checking out. Skip both these powders. One is from Laura Mercier. It's the translucent loose powder. This is the talc-free ultra blur powder in the shade Rose. This actually looks really heavy. When I tried to set my under eyes with it, I did not like the way my under eyes looked. It looked really crepey, really creasy, and the performance of this is just not there. So don't buy the Laura Mercier Rose powder that's reformulated. This is not a hit in my opinion. Now, I hate to say this one. I wanted to like this one. I love Makeup Forever. I think they have some amazing high performance pro level products, but this one just does not perform the way I wanted it to. This is the HD Skin Setting Powder. This comes in many different shades. I have vanilla, I have corrective rose. This is supposed to have a little bit more of like a rose pinky undertone to it. It really doesn't. The consistency of this powder is very chunky. So very chunky, very like corn starchy in texture. Just not high performance enough. It sets my makeup, but my makeup just doesn't look great after a few hours. It just doesn't lock in my makeup the way my Huda does, the way the Makeup by Maro does. So don't buy this one and don't buy the Laura Mercier. All right, this next one might upset a few people, and it's not that they're bad. It really is not that they're bad, okay? Buy these powder blushes and don't buy these, okay? And here's why. If you're looking to treat yourself to a beautiful blush that just looks stunning on your skin, that blends out beautifully, that doesn't go on patchy, that's easy to work with, that has stunning shades to choose from, then YSL, they really made a comeback after this liquid disaster. They really made a hardcore comeback because this is worth every single penny. The packaging is like the cherry on top of the sundae, okay? That's great. It's a bonus. It feels luxe. It looks gorgeous on your countertop, but it's all about that formula. The formula is unbelievable. It's beautiful, buildable, blends in beautifully, looks gorgeous on your skin, lasts all day. It doesn't wear off throughout the day, at least in my experience. I have not had that happen to me at all with this blush. So it's pricey, but absolutely worth every single dollar in my opinion. So buy this one. And if you're looking for something less expensive, but also gives you like a smoothing, more blurring look to your skin, buy the Fenty Beauty. The suede blushes are so underrated, but so fantastic. These are so worth the buy. They have beautiful shades to choose from. This is the shade Petal Poppin', and it's a beautiful pink. It's just gorgeous. The Tower 28 Get Set. This is the Blur and Set Matte Powder Blush. Here's my problem with this one. I wanted to like it so much. I like Tower 28. I like a ton of their products, but for some reason, this one always goes patchy on me, and it's been difficult to work with. Even though this is supposed to be a blurring blush, this one is more difficult to get on without a patchy finish. So I say don't get this one. If you want a blur and you want a suede, smooth look to your blush, get the Fenty over this one. And slightly more comparable to the YSL, the shimmery, more glowy finish ones, because there's matte ones as well, is going to be the new Say Radiant Blush. It's the Super Suede Radiant Blush Powder. These are like a baked blush. These are just really underwhelming in my opinion. The packaging just doesn't feel in line with Say and like their products, just in my opinion. The colors are nice. There's nothing wrong with the colors. There's really nothing wrong with the formula other than the fact that this also pulls a little patchy at times if I'm not uber careful with how I apply this and like what application techniques and what products I'm going to be putting this on top of. So it's a little bit more difficult to work with, to say the least, because you have to be really careful with how you finesse this on your skin. Just my experience with it. I know plenty of people that really like this one, but I'd say if you're really debating between like new powder blushes, these are the ones to get and these are the ones to skip. Another one that I want to say to skip, it's just, again, there's just nothing special about it, is the newly reformulated NARS powders. These are powder blushes. They were reformulated without talc, and the shades are just, they all kind of look alike. They're all very flat. There's just nothing great to them, and I think that these are just really underwhelming. So save your money. Don't get these. Get either of these, but especially get the YSL. If there's one powder blush I tell you to get during the Sephora savings event, it's this one. If you're looking for an overall amazing pot concealer, like a full coverage pot concealer, something you can like do spot concealing if you have a pimple, if you have an area of concern that you really want good coverage on, if you just want a pot concealer for like blending on with your fingertips and buffing out, get the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. You will be so in love with this formula, and definitely skip the Glossier. The Balm Concealer just slides off your face. It's too moisturizing and it's just too hard to set down with powder, whereas this one, you can apply it with your fingertip, dot it on if you want, not set it with powder, and you're good to go. Rapid fire, more concealers I want you to not buy, and more concealers I want you to buy. So it's a lot. So I'm going to go through them quick because we have a lot here. Buy any of these concealers and don't buy these. Now I'm going to show you ones I think are comparable in terms of the finish. Do not buy the Born This Way concealer. This is the cakiest concealer you will ever put on your skin. Instead, you want full coverage. You want flawless, unbelievable coverage that lasts all day, that looks beautiful. But I'll preface this by saying this will cake up if you do use too much, so just be careful. Please buy the Hourglass Vanish Concealer instead, because this is a holy grail for me in my life, and it's a phenomenal, flawless formula. If you want a concealer that's more moisturizing, that feels more hydrating under your eyes, then please get the Kulfi Main Match Concealer. This feels like a serum-based concealer. It feels so hydrating and so nice under the eyes especially. Blends out like a dream, long-lasting, gorgeous finish, and just really easy to work with and very high-performing. And you're going to want to definitely skip the new Isomaya Concealer. This is also skin-caring. It has skincare ingredients in it. Overall, the packaging is very clunky, very difficult to work with, and also very messy in my opinion. And although this does feel more like a serum, more like skincare, there's no performance backing it up. So I just would say skip this one for sure. Get the Kulfi instead if you want that kind of moisturizing feeling, and you'll be really happy. And then the next ones, I'm just going to run through really quick, okay? I want you to pick up these because any of these are going to be top notch. You're going to love them. My number one concealer that I use all the time, and it's a staple in my life, is the Natasha Denona High Glam. The shade range, amazing. There's a color for everyone, multiples that will work for you. The formula is unbelievable. I find that for a full coverage concealer, this one feels incredibly moisturizing, and any skin type can use it. So dry, mature, young, oily, anyone's going to like this, and you can either use a tiny bit, blend it out, or you can get a full glam moment with that concealer. And I've always said skip the Milk Future Fluid Concealer. This one's an all over cream concealer. It's just not it. Like, there's something about this formula, I just don't like the way it sits on my skin because it just doesn't sit well. It just looks heavy. It just doesn't do enough. To me, this one is just underwhelming. It just doesn't sit that great on my skin, and for that reason, I would skip this one. In terms of a high-end concealer, definitely skip the Givenchy. Do not pick this one up. The Prism Libre Skin Caring Concealer. This one is just not it. Not worth the money, and it doesn't perform as well as this next one I'm going to show you. And instead, I would highly suggest you pick up the Dior Backstage Flash Concealer. The shade range is amazing. The formula is unbeatable. It's thin, buildable, gives amazing coverage without feeling heavy on your skin. So amazing for under eyes, amazing for highlighting, amazing for anyone. Buy the KVD Serum Concealer because it feels unbelievable under the eyes. It blends out like a dream. Coverage is phenomenal. Less is more, but you will always love the way this looks on your skin, especially under your eyes. And skip the Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer. This crease like no one's business under my eyes, and it also made my mascara run because it's just so creamy that you can't really dry it down with powder. This one does not wear well at all under my eyes. It feels nice initially, but throughout the day, it's going to look terrible. Definitely buy the CL Conceal and Protect. This has SPF 50 in it. 50 in a concealer, which is amazing. And hands down, please skip the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. This has actual shimmer in it that just looks so unflattering under your eyes. This will magnify texture and make you look crepey under your eyes. It is just not a flattering formula. I have never been a fan of this one. Now, I couldn't tackle every single category you could think of in terms of makeup because we would be sitting here for a very long time. So I'm skipping a lot of products like lip liners, lipsticks, eyeliners, things like that. But I do have a lip gloss I want want to talk about, and I have some lip balms. Absolutely do not buy the Glossier Balm.com. This is a glorified Vaseline that is more pricey and just not worth the hype. These taste terrible and they just don't do a whole lot of anything. But what does do a lot and what does make your lips feel fantastic and that are worth every bit of the hype that they get are the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balms. These have the best flavors, shades to choose from. They are phenomenal. There's not one bad one in the bunch. You will love these and you will by far love the way these look and feel on your lips. And bonus, if you inevitably end up eating some, because we eat all of our lip products to some degree throughout the day, you won't be horrified and disgusted by the way this tastes. Buy the Edam Lip Softening Balm. These come in different shades. They also have a clear one. This is so nourishing and so emollient and so rich. You'll love the way this feels. They're incredibly long lasting and they're like a big hug for your lips. They just feel incredible. This is the shade Boba Bounce, and don't get the Merit Shade Slicks. Sorry, that's just my opinion. I don't think these are worth it. I don't think they're worth the hype, and they just don't do a whole lot of anything to nourish your lips. They do offer some color, but the color is just not long lasting. Now, hands down, if you're wanting to invest in a lip oil that has some tint to it, please buy the Gisou. The Gisou ones are incredible. This is one of the shades that came out with recently, and it's actually what I have on my lips right now, topping my lipstick. It's a beautiful formula. It feels incredibly nourishing with that added honey, and it just feels amazing on your lips. These will have your lips feeling so soft and so luscious. You will love this formula and it doesn't break the bank. And don't buy the Dior Lip Glow Oil. These are not worth the hefty price tag. They do a whole lot of nothing on your lips and they're just incredibly underwhelming. The tint is hardly there and they're just not worth it. Now for glosses, I just have two new ones that are noteworthy and worth talking about. And in my opinion, I say buy the Super Boost Makeup Forever lip gloss. They did something right with this collection. The gloss is amazing. Very thick, very long lasting, but not goopy and not sticky and not like gunky on your lips. The shades that they came out with are so pretty. They're beautiful. So I do recommend these. I don't recommend the new Makeup by Mario. This is the Super Shine lip gloss. These are just really underwhelming, not worth the investment and just not worth picking up. Plus all the shades end up looking like the same shade. They're just not enough pigment behind them to make them different from one to the next. So for that reason, I think they're more of a boring gloss launch. I'm so sorry, Makeup by Mario. They're not bad, but they're just not giving enough. Whereas the Super Boost gives you quite a bit. Packs a punch, feels amazing. This one is just very underwhelming and just doesn't give you enough color and just enough oomph. Now that wraps up this portion of the video, but I want to throw in some favorite products I've been just loving and highly recommending. And I don't necessarily have a product that I don't recommend to go with it, but honorable mentions that I think are so worth checking out. I don't have a comparison to speak on that I don't recommend as an alternative, but these two in general, I highly recommend. If you're looking for a very soft, very sheer but buildable liquid bronzer, the Makeup by Mario ones are where it's at. They're so easy to work with and they're just beautiful on your skin. And if you want, it's called a contour, but it's more of a bronzer. So I'm just going to say if you want more of a full coverage, more well pigmented liquid bronzer, then the Rare Beauty ones are really worth checking out. They're gorgeous on. They blend out like butter and they're incredibly easy to work with. I love this formula. A new primer that I want to talk about and throw in this mix is the CL Prime and Protect. If you're looking for a double duty extra sunscreen, like extra sun protection, this has SPF 30. This is a great formula for all skin types. Feels lightweight, feels great under makeup, wears great under makeup, doesn't pill under makeup, doesn't sit funny under makeup, then this is one to check out. One of the best matte bronzers I've ever picked up and is worth the price tag and it's steep is the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze Powder. This is a fantastic formula. I've gotten so many people hooked on this and it's definitely worth checking out during the Sephora savings event. Two more products that are noteworthy that I'm loving right now. The CL Glow and Protect SPF 50 Glow Wands. These are gorgeous. They're a liquid highlighter that you can put on the top of your cheeks anywhere where you want some extra glow. They're very easy to work with. They're also really nice underneath your makeup for a glow from within. These are new, noteworthy, and definitely worth checking out during the Sephora savings event. There's plenty of color correctors on the market and brighteners. There's so many that I like. I like the Cali Ray one. I like the Huda Beauty color correctors, but this one's just a little different. I want to give it its own spotlight because there's really not one that I diss that I would say don't pick up and pick up this one instead. So to give this some time and to recommend it wholeheartedly in case you have not gotten the fact that I love it, it's the Kosas Revealer Extra Bright Serum Powered Color Corrector. This is the shade Magic, and Magic works wonders for tired eyes. There's a couple shades to choose from. This is the one that I prefer for under my eyes for brightening and color correcting, and it's just a fantastic formula. Last but not least, I want to talk about one eyeshadow palettes, not necessarily this color story, but to wrap this video up, I want to talk about one eyeshadow palette that is new, noteworthy, has been made fun of a lot, but don't diss it until you try it, because the Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Eye Trend palettes are actually showstoppers. I'm sorry. I know, pump the brakes. I know a lot of people are complaining about the plastic packaging, and the plastic packaging does suck. But as a makeup artist, if you're keeping all these palettes in your kit, there's nothing easier than just seeing right there what color story you're grabbing when you need to grab it and not having to look in the back, read it, read the small print, or open it up. So for that, I appreciate the clear packaging. Could they have elevated it a little bit more? Totally. But regardless, these formulas are the best formulas from Charlotte Tilbury that she's ever launched. Period. The shimmers, wet, metallic, high shine, easy to work with. They shine like no one's business. And the mattes, perfect. No complaints. They blend easy. They're buildable. The color payoff is just unbelievable. The color stories that she launched are so, so pretty. I really want to pick up the green one, and I want to pick up the more neutral earth tone one. Surprise, I know. I even kind of want to pick up the blue one just to have in my pro kit because I have like no good blue eyeshadows. If you're looking for a fun eyeshadow palette, don't fear the packaging. Take it from me. Don't diss this one until you've tried it, because the formulas are amazing. All of them. They're all amazing. And that is the last product in this video. I hope you found this video incredibly helpful when you're deciding what to buy, what not to buy during the savings event at Sephora. It can be very challenging. I know, I get you. So hopefully this felt like a friend walking the aisles with you and helping you out along the way. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Big thank you once again to Sephora for showing this channel love. We love you in return, and thank you so much for being a partner on this video. So good luck, happy shopping. I cannot wait to see and hear what's in your cart and what you end up picking up. Drop that in the comments below, and I'll see you all soon. Bye. All right, this next one is pretty near and dear to my heart because it's a drugstore makeup brand that I've loved I've loved this brand since I've been into makeup, and I've been loving makeup since I was a teenager, actively working and trying to be a makeup artist since I was 22. I am now 40 years old, so 18 years of loving makeup, buying makeup, practicing and honing in on my skill. But anyway, back to this brand. This brand is one that's just near and dear to my heart because it's L'Oreal. So spoiler alert, it's L'Oreal. This is a video that's all about what I think is the best products from L'Oreal. L'Oreal is a big player in the beauty space, and especially a big player in the drugstore beauty space. Like, they own and they dominate a lot of drugstore beauty products, and their formulations are really just top tier. Now, there are some that I don't think are worth the buy, but that's going to be with all makeup brands, right? But in this video, I talk specifically about all the products I think are the best that L'Oreal has to offer. This video was filmed in 2024, so since then, of course, they've had some newer launches, so just keep that in mind. There are still new products coming out from L'Oreal to this day, but back in 2024, these are the products I think were the best from L'Oreal. So if you ever wonder what my thoughts are on the brand as a whole, you're going to get them all in this video. So let's sit back and watch the best of L'Oreal together. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full face of a very iconic drugstore brand. Full face of my favorites and what I consider the best of L'Oreal. All right, number one thing I want to talk about to get this party started is their complexion products, specifically their foundations, because L'Oreal just does it right. L'Oreal is one of the best leaders in drugstore foundations. L'Oreal and Maybelline, those are my top two that I'll always go back to. I'll always use Maybelline and L'Oreal drugstore foundations because they're unbelievable products. They're unbelievable formulations. And honestly, in case you didn't know, L'Oreal owns a lot of big makeup brands. So L'Oreal is a huge player in this field. So L'Oreal, they own and they manufacture a lot of the best makeup out there. So it only makes sense that their drugstore products they feel a lot like luxury. They feel a lot high end. They feel like something you would pick up at a Sephora because they pretty much are made in the same place. There is one product that I was dying to get my hands on for this video, and I could not find it in store anywhere. I went to Ulta, CVS, Walgreens, Target. I went everywhere, but you know, it is my fault because I should have bought it online, ordered it, and had it for this video. But alas, I did not do that. I did not get it in time. So I still need to get my hands on the L'Oreal Infallible Loose Setting Powder. They have it in a shade that's like a pale pink that is right up my alley in terms of like the products I like to use. So until I get that, I would love for you to leave me a comment and let me know if you've tried it. Is it worth it? And do I need it? I'm guessing I need it. It's L'Oreal and I love a lot of L'Oreal products. So Until then, we're going to do this makeup look without that product. Now, one of my absolute holy grails from L'Oreal, and I've talked about this for years, and somebody spooked me a little while back and said that they were discontinuing this, and I believed it, but they're not. It's on their website. It is absolutely available. You can definitely pick it up, and I highly encourage you to do so because I have matched this and compared this to the $250 La Prairie Skin Caviar Foundation. To me, this is a beautiful alternative to spending quite a bit of pennies on a foundation. Like, although, you know, I love this foundation, I think it's absolutely such a treat yourself moment and so gorgeous. This is the one out of all the skin tints, all the serum based products that I've tried out there. This is the one that matches that La Prairie one the most, like almost identical. So if that doesn't convince you to try this one from L'Oreal, I don't know what will. Maybe it's the fact that it has SPF 50 in it. It's a broad spectrum SPF 50. This has antioxidants in it. It's a serum based product. It gives beautiful coverage. It's very buildable, very layerable, but the look of it is like your skin, but better. I'm going to shut up about it. I'm going to shake this bad boy up. Mine's a bit old at this point. I definitely need a new one, so maybe I'll go on the website and I'll pick this up along with that powder that I need. The shade that I have is Golden Beige 50. So I want to show you what it looks like on my skin so you can get a good idea of whether or not you'd want to pick this up for yourself. So Golden Beige 50 is the shade that I wear, and this literally feels like a serum-based product. I mean, it feels like you're putting a hyaluronic acid serum on your skin, like a very hydrating, lightweight, silky kind of feeling. So that is one even coat. Like I mentioned, you could build it up very easily. You could apply it with a brush, you could apply it with your fingertips. It doesn't matter. It looks so beautiful on your skin. It's just a standout product to me. So that is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Serum Foundation. Absolutely one of the best products that L'Oreal has to offer. Now, an OG classic that has been around forever. It's a very, very iconic foundation at this point, and it has been for a really long time. This has been out since I was a child. This is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation. I have the shade W4. This is a classic. When in doubt, when you don't know what you want and you can't decide if you want, you know, full coverage, less coverage, if you just have no idea what you're looking for in terms of a foundation, this is a place to start because this will quickly help you decipher, okay, I want less coverage. Okay, I want more glow. Okay, I want more matte. This is like that perfect in between. Everyone can wear this kind of foundation formula. So I'm going to swatch this and show you what this L'Oreal True Match looks like on my skin and let you decide if it's for you or not. With all foundations, if you haven't used them in a minute, or even if you use them every day, shake up your formulas. I've not used this one in a hot minute. I'm going to swipe W4, which is a bit more warm on me, a little too warm for my liking. Shade aside, I want you to look at the formula, how it blends on, and the coverage that it gives. It's about a medium to buildable coverage. I'd say it's like a full medium, leaning into buildable to be a full coverage. Satin finish, very skin-like, very breathable, very lightweight, doesn't feel heavy on your skin at all, wears really, really beautifully on the skin, and it's just a standout, very solid. It's like that friend, you know, you could just not talk to for like a year, but then once you text that friend or you call them, you're right back to where you were. Like they're like that reliable. This foundation is like that friend. You know what I mean? The one that doesn't like make you feel bad for not hanging out with them all the time. The one that you could just like not text back for weeks on end. But when you do text them back, they're cool. They don't hold it against you. Like they're fine. They're confident. They know we're both busy. Like that is this foundation to a T. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation in the shade W4. An absolute holy grail. Now I want to talk about a new one that I picked up very recently to test out, and I have to tell you I fell in love with it. This is quite incredible. Quite incredible. And like, why didn't anyone tell me to buy this one sooner? I feel like I've been missing out for a very, very long time. This is the L'Oreal 24-Hour Foundation Infallible Pro Glow. Now I already have the Pro Matte and I love it. For oily skin that wants a full coverage, unbelievable. Like the finish, the look, the wear time, literally unbeatable. So why didn't anyone tell me to get the Pro Glow? So let's swatch the Pro Glow. Let me show you what this looks like on. I gotta warn you, it's stunning. Now I have the shade 203 Nude Beige. And it's a decent match for me, I have to say. I'm gonna apply this with the BK Beauty 115 brush. And are you ready for this? Oh God, it's so good. So good. It's actually pretty similar, I will say, to my serum, my Age Perfect serum, except it doesn't have the high SPF, obviously. And it's definitely more long wearing. So the serum one, I love it. It wears beautiful, but this one definitely beats out the wear time. This one does not move. This one is like an incredible all day wear. So if you want to glow, you want buildable coverage, you want a skin-like finish, but you want it to stay on your skin and not just slide off and slide around all about town all day long, then you have to get this one. This one is like ridiculously good. And wear your sunscreen underneath as you should anyway, and you'll be in tip-top shape. The feeling of this is just, it's just amazing. Coverage, gorgeous. The match I have is pretty darn epic. If you've tried it and you love it, please leave that in the comments below. And next time I'm missing out on a foundation from the drugstore, please tell me, because I wish I would have tried this way sooner. I know this is newer, like in the last like 2 years, I believe, but still, I've been missing out. So that is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in the shade 203 Nude Beige. Look at that glow. It's glow without texture and without the slip inside effect, and is very long wearing. Now I am going to put on the Infallible Pro Matte just so you can see what this looks like on, because it's only fair. I love this one so much, as I mentioned. This shade is a little bit off for me. This is the shade 105 Natural Beige, so it's going to look a little bit on the funky side, so just keep that in mind. It's very warm. However, there are ways for me to tweak this, and I have in the past to make this work. But color aside, formula-wise, you can see it's a very full coverage, and it will dry down very quickly into a very nice soft matte. Not like a harsh, dry as a desert matte at all. A very smooth, very airbrush kind of matte. So for my oily people out there, this is the one to check out, especially if you want a full coverage that is budge proof. This is definitely one to get. And that is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. Now another one from L'Oreal that is truly iconic and truly one of my absolute holy grail favorites from L'Oreal. You cannot get me to stop using this. I will always repurchase this. I will always love this, and I will continue to recommend this. Now, this one I've always talked about, and I've always said that this is a great alternative and a great dupe for the Armani Luminous Silk. Yes, you heard that right. Foundation that I've kept in my pro kit for a million years at this point. A foundation that is very expensive, very beloved, very high performance, and very beautiful on all skin. This is the same way. L'Oreal True Match Nude. This is a hyaluronic tinted serum foundation. Now this goes on a little bit more natural, but you could definitely build this up to be quite a full coverage, to be quite honest, and I've done that many times. The shade that I wear the most is 4-5 medium. I'm going to shake this up and show you how gorgeous this L'Oreal foundation is. It is gorgeous. The only complaint, if I had to like be picky, is the dropper, and that is a bit on the messy side. So I just dropped some of this on my palette. I'm going to apply it with the 106 from BK Beauty. Now this color in particular has a really soft olive undertone to it, which is amazing. So if you're ever looking for like a glowy, more light to medium olive undertone complexion product, foundation product, this is the one to get. It has a slight green olive hue to it, which is amazing for my skin tone. Hydration level that this gives you is so nice. If you have dry skin, if you have dry mature skin, if you have dry young skin, it doesn't matter. If you have dry skin and you want like a soft glow and a buildable coverage that feels like skin and looks like skin, this is so absolutely stunning. So that is the L'Oreal True Match Nude. How gorgeous is this? This one is like literally an iconic product. Okay, now I want to talk about these bad boys, okay? Because there's a lot of questions about how to use these, the best way to use these, and I have lots of answers for you, and I'm going to show you and demonstrate how to mix this with one of my all-time favorite, the one I saved for last, foundations from L'Oreal. So this is the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glow Tint. Now I have two shades. I mix them periodically depending on like what kind of look I'm going for. I'll use the darker one if I'm using this underneath my foundation to give me like a bit more of a tan and to even up my complexion to the rest of my body. And then the lighter one I'll use as more of like a topper, more of like a highlighter, more of like a finishing glow on top of my foundation, which is exactly what I'm going to do today. But this product, think about it in terms of like, you wouldn't want to use this all over your face, especially in the areas where you have more texture, larger pores, or any kind of skin concerns like that, because this will be like a magnifying glass on those areas. It does have a high amount of shimmer to it, has a ton of glow. And also, if you wear it all on its own as a foundation, it's not going to be long lasting at all, especially if you're oily like me. And that's actually one of the mistakes I made when I first bought this product. I mixed both these. I was on the go. I was testing it out during the week when I was doing makeup on clients. I was putting it on my face all over as a foundation. And there was a few times where I looked in the mirror when I was testing out in those early beginnings of trying this product, and I was like, why is my foundation literally slipping off of my face? Because it's not going to be best suited for an all over complexion product. Use it in the same way that you would use the e.l.f. Halo Glow or the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. If you use it in those two ways, like those two products, you're golden and you will absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you the way to use it to love it. But this product gives you the most gorgeous glow, like the most gorgeous glow. But again, if you have texture, things like that, Stay away from those areas of concern and put it in very specific areas that you want to actually enhance the glow. Okay, so last but not least, I saved the foundation I'm going to be using for this full face of L'Oreal, the best of L'Oreal, and that is the classic, the OG, the iconic, a foundation that I've been using since 2015. Probably actually 2013 and 2014, if I'm being totally honest with you and myself. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Up to 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is the iconic formula. Now, I was told by a few of you that they reformulated and now it has vitamin C inside the formulation. I went out, I picked up the new one, the fresh bad boy that is newly reformulated. We're going to test this out together, see if it holds up to the OG. I also picked up a different shade because I felt like 425, my original guy right here, was a bit on the too golden, too warm side and a bit too dark. So we're going to try 420 instead. Now they did increase the wear time. So now the original was 24-hour fresh wear. The new one is up to 32-hour. So big claims, lots to test out. And we're going to be putting this one to the test. Now, before we put that on our face, I want to shout out and call out 2 primers from L'Oreal that I think are some of the best out there in terms of drugstore primers. This one I've talked about for many, many years at this point. It's the Prime Lab Advanced Derm Primer. This is a 24-hour matte setter. This has salicylic acid in it and also 1% LHA. This grips your makeup. This is going to help to combat shine, to help keep you matte for a prolonged period of time. So this is really great for my truly, truly oily people out there as a primer from the drugstore. And an honorable mention that is really good for redness reducing. Now, I don't use this on myself because I don't have a lot of redness to reduce, minus this little bad boy right here. But this is the Prime Lab Up to 24-Hour Redness Eraser. This has 4% niacinamide in it. So if you're sensitive to that, just make sure you're aware that's in the ingredient deck on this product. But this is going to help to reduce and calm redness. I'm going to show you what this looks like on my hand so you can really see the color and the texture. So just as good as any high-end green primers out there, this looks really similar to the Makeup Forever one that is a lot more expensive, and honestly it's going to work just as well. So for anyone out there who has excess redness and is looking for a good redness reducing primer, this one from L'Oreal is worth checking out. Now, it wouldn't be right, okay, if I didn't share with you a holy grail, what I think is like one of the best L'Oreal products on the planet ever in existence. I have all the shades in my professional kit. These 2 are mine, and I use these as primers. I use these as glowy bases for my makeup. I'll use this on top for an added bit of glow and as a highlighting effect, but I also love these on my body. Now, if I didn't have a high top on and a turtleneck, I would show you what these look like on my chest. These make the most incredible body glow products on earth. I use these on set. I'll put them on my clients' collarbones, their décolleté, down their neck. I'll put them on the top of their shoulders, on their arms, their legs, you name it. There's not a bad spot to put these bad boys, okay? So before we dive into the rest of the makeup, I do want to put just a little bit on because it wouldn't be fair if I didn't show you what these look like on my skin. So one of my favorite ones to wear on me is the shade 903 Medium. I'm gonna take 903 Medium and we're gonna use this as our primer for today. Now I say primer, but I'm still gonna avoid certain areas of concern. I'm not gonna put this above my lip because that would just add a metallic glow in an area that I don't want a metallic glow. But the way these sit on your skin, the way they add like a gripping feeling to your foundation on top, it's just, they're one of the best glow products on the market. High end or low end, doesn't matter. Like these are top notch. So blend it on nice and quick. I'm gonna put some on my chin and a bit down my nose. Even though I am oily, it still looks really pretty on my nose, peeking through my makeup. How pretty is that? They dry down relatively quick, which is also great because you can put your foundation on pretty much right after this is applied. So there's no dry down time you have to worry about, but these are just an absolute staple and a holy grail from L'Oreal. Now it is actually time to put some foundation on my face, and we have so many other things from L'Oreal that are the best of the best that I cannot wait to put on. So let me shake this up. This formula feels a bit thinner than the OG, so I'm gonna really shake it up and pump this onto my palette. Applying it with a clean N17. What I've always liked about this foundation is how much coverage it gives while not looking cakey or heavy and while being very, very long lasting. Now, I won't be testing this out for 32 hours, but if you at home do, if you're a nurse, if you're someone who works extended hours and you've tried this, I would really love to know what it looks like at the end of your shift or at the end of your workday. If you have experience with it, like that long of experience, please drop that in the comments. I feel like it'd be really helpful to all of us. So far, I'm not seeing a big difference in the formula other than the fact that it just feels a bit thinner in consistency. Now, I did go a bit lighter on the shade. I will warm this up. Once this dries down, it's going to look a teeny bit deeper than what it looks like on camera right now. Foundation, if you have the right match, it usually looks a little bit light on your skin when you first apply it, and then once it dries down into a slightly deeper tone. There's like a natural oxidation that happens when your foundations dry down. Let's cover up this pimple. My God, I'm tired of looking at that. Get this all over. I'm gonna apply a bit more around my nose. My foundation is looking excellent. I'm gonna swipe whatever's left over on my eyelids for a quick redness reducing. I'm not worried about this interfering and interacting poorly with my eyeshadow because this is a longwear foundation. It's not like a glowy product that I just put on my skin. So nothing wrong with a little thin layer on my eyelids. Foundation is on. Now there is a thing that I'm missing from L'Oreal. They don't have, at least I couldn't find something like this, and I've never tried this from L'Oreal, so I couldn't even speak if it was the best of L'Oreal or not. But they don't have a cream bronzer that I've ever tried or seen. So in that case, I want to make sure this makeup look is cohesive and is giving everything we need to give. So I'm going to throw in a wild card and a product that is not L'Oreal. It's the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylist, and we're just going to do a bit of this in the areas that we want to contour. So not L'Oreal. We had to fill the gap. 109 brush from BK Beauty. I'm going to tap this in. And then we'll lock this in once we get to that point of this makeup application with a Holy Grail and my all-time favorite Drugstore bronzer. Switching my brush to my N16. Blend out this nose contour. Now before we move on to concealer, I'm going to show you exactly how to wear this and how to love it. Because I promise you, wearing this all over as a foundation is just not it. So this is the shade 120. It's a teeny bit lighter, so it's going to give me more of like a highlighted effect. I'm going to use the back side of my N17 brush just because it's nice and clean. Dip into this beautiful product. I'm going to add this on the high points of my cheeks, in the center of my forehead, and down the bridge of my nose. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous product. Another way I really like to use this product is foolproof and fail-proof is to mix it into equal parts of a more matte or more satin finish foundation. It will sheer it out. It will give it more glow, more luminosity, and a really, really pretty look. Look at that though. It's just stunning. Many ways to wear it. Just avoid the areas you have more texture or larger pores. So if you put in those areas, you're probably not going to like it. It's just so good. And I actually want to go back and add a little bit more of my Lumi Glotion in the shade medium. I'm going to put this on the top of my hand. And I want just a bit more sheer glow across my forehead. Just going to go back and forth with the N17 and then tap in. And we are glowing all the way through this makeup look. It's so pretty. All right, now moving on to concealer. This is what I consider to be the best L'Oreal concealer. This is a true match. This is more of a hydrating concealer. You could build up to have a really great coverage. But you could also make it a really natural coverage as well. I think it's a really versatile concealer from L'Oreal. The shades are great to choose from. It's not too thick, it's not crepey, it's not too heavy under your eyes, and it really feels nice and comfortable. So I think this is the best one from L'Oreal by far. The shade that I wear is N3. I also want to call out the doe foot. The doe foot on this is unique. It's flat, a little bit wider. I need another one of these, I'm almost out. And I like the way it like actually just lays well under your eye. It's got a nice like triangle shape, which I love. You probably know, like triangle shapes under the eyes, I'm all about. So I'm going to use this and we're going to line this up on the side of my nose. We're going to do a lift. Now this concealer will wear shockingly well throughout the day. I still recommend you set it with some powder. And like I mentioned, I don't have the L'Oreal powder, unfortunately, to test out. So I'll have to try that in a separate video and I'll have to give it some good wear time and let you know if I think it's one of the best products from L'Oreal or not. And a bit of highlighting and extra concealing, just like that. I'm gonna grab my Angie Hot and Flashy A505, blend out this brow bone highlight, and then switch to my N14 brush and blend out the other areas of highlighting that we just did. I talked about this recently, but the one good thing about doing a full face of one specific brand is you know the product's going to play well together, you know they're going to interact well together, and you know they're meant to work together, period. So when you do a full face of any brand, expect to have a very cohesive look without, I mean, never say never, but you shouldn't have any problems with pilling or products not like playing well together because they're all made to work seamlessly as a whole. So L'Oreal is no exception. Their products always play well together. Even if you're switching up the formulas and doing like a more matte with more of like a glowy, let's say the Lumi Glotion on top or underneath, they're going to work well together. They're going to play well together. So you're never going to have that issue of products clashing and formulas not working well. But look at the coverage that that gives in such a soft look. It's not a heavy coverage. It's a very thin, buildable coverage. It's just the best L'Oreal concealer on the market. Oh, so good. With whatever's left over, I'm going to just run this on my eyes one more time. And then we got some blushes to do. We got some blushing to put on our skin. And probably no surprise here, but these three right here They're amazing. These are the best liquid blushes I've ever tried at the drugstore. They beat out my e.l.f. ones. I love the e.l.f., but these to me are just the best of the best of the drugstore. They're the L'Oreal Lumi liquid blushes. All these shades are holy grails in my life. They're so stunning on, but I think I want to start with a bit of this peach one, and then we're going to cocktail it with a bit of a deeper one at the end. So we're going to start with this one first. We're going to do this as like an underneath layer, and this is the shade Dewy Worth It. The blend of these is unbelievable. They just melt literally into your skin. The pigment is perfection. They are very pigmented, by the way, so just an FYI. Look how pretty this peachy one is. I'm gonna bring this all up towards the temple for a very soft cascade of this shade. Ugh, I hope they never get rid of this formula because this is like the best liquid blush I have ever tried from the drugstore. So all over, I'm kind of hitting the temple and the outer part of my eye, just for like an all over soft wash of this. I'm gonna dive into a deeper one. This is another favorite one of mine as well. So this is the shade Glowy Worth It Medium. It is a deep rosy, but also with metallic red. A little bit of this goes a long way. So we're gonna do one delicate dot. Backside of the N17, you could use the front side as well, but I already have that peachy blush on the backside. So we're gonna continue on layering this one with that same brush. So pretty. These two blushes combined, or even just by themselves, are gonna tie in really well with the lip color that we're gonna do. And I'm really excited for the lip color. There's so many good L'Oreal lip colors. I have so many favorites. I'm going to call them all out, but then we'll do one look, of course. All right, touch more. Gonna build it up. Whatever's left over, we're going to just swipe across the nose. Now, as I mentioned, I wasn't able to pick up the L'Oreal Pink Loose Infallible Powder. I'm so bummed. So we'll have to save that for a future video, like I mentioned. So in the meantime, we still have to set this makeup. So we're going to throw in some Makeup by Mario in the shade Fair Pink. This is the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. And I'm running very low on this powder. Same N14 brush. I'm going to dip into the powder. And let's get our under eyes nice and set. Gonna also hit my T-zone like that. All right, thank you, Mario, for joining this chat. And now we can move on to my all-time favorite drugstore bronzer. If you already know, you already know. Like, this is the best of the best in terms of a drugstore bronzer that is like high performance, looks like a high-end bronzer. The L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Matte Powder Bronzer. I wear the shade 300 Light Medium, and this bad boy has traveled with me. It has seen many days, okay? Like, I love this bronzer so much. I'm going to grab my favorite large powder brush from BK Beauty, the 104 brush, and we're going to dip into this powder bronzer from L'Oreal. Literally, when I think of like the best products from L'Oreal, this bronzer was like the top. We're going to lightly shade and buff this on the high points of my face. It's a really great powder bronzer if you have oily skin. It's also just a really great powder bronzer if you want just a soft matte look that's not too like makeup-y. It never looks chalky, it never looks heavy on your skin. It's just a perfect formula bronzer. I'm going to hit the side of my nose. I'm going to really get whatever's left over into my brow, and boy do I have a good brow product to share with you. Boy do I have a great classic L'Oreal brow product. I used to use it a million trillion years ago, and I'd since run out a long time ago, and I'm so happy to have repurchased it because it's an absolute game changer if you have no brows and oily skin. We'll get to it. Cliffhanger, I know. Just dusting this and buffing into the brows and building it up like that. All right, now let's get these brows going. Now let me introduce you to absolute of the best products for your brows from L'Oreal. Like, these are the best products that L'Oreal has to offer for your brows, in my opinion. One is a total classic, very old school. It's the Unbelievable Brow. This is like a liquid brow. Preferably, you're going to put this on with a brush. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then paired with the L'Oreal 24-Hour Brow Lamination Gel. This is an absolute game changer if you want a good drugstore clear brow gel that gives you really great hold without like the clumpy, flaky, kind of dandruffy look in your brows. This is the one to get. But first things first, we need to apply this bad boy. I have not used this in a hot minute, like I mentioned. I picked up the shade Dark Brown, and this is how it's going to come. It's going to come with a doe foot applicator, like a lip gloss. Okay, I repeat, do not take this little applicator and go like this to your brows. You will not be happy with the way it looks. It's going to look like you Sharpied them on. Instead, you need a tiny, and I repeat, tiny eyeliner brush, like a tiny little flat angle brush in your life. This is my holy grail for that kind of product. It's a 208 brush from BK Beauty. Look at this little bad boy right here. This is the best petite, get in there, get into hard to reach areas of your eyes, get in and like paint on a brow type angle brush out there. I have a bigger one with BK Beauty, my N11, and this is like the little itty bitty detailer that everyone needs. So you're gonna take this brush, you're gonna dip in, and you're gonna kind of lay it flat on each side and like properly coat each side of the brush, but not goop on too much product. Wipe off the excess, And then, my friends, you're going to paint on a brow. The benefits of this product and who it's for specifically, anyone who has very sparse hair, like barely any hair, and needs a long-lasting brow product that's not going to disappear throughout the day. It's not going to smudge. You can't even like rub it off. You have to like wash this product off with basically cleanser. That's how long wearing this is. It gives you a budge-proof brow. So I'm going to paint on my brow with this product. Let's say you have no brows and you're going to go swimming. I've been in this predicament a million times in my life. I've gone scuba diving with my no brows. And I wish I would have had this product back when I did that a million years ago, because this holds up through so much. I'm so happy they still have this formula. It's like an iconic formula for L'Oreal. Definitely a bit tricky to use. Definitely takes time and a bit more skill and a bit more practice. But once you get the hang of it, and if you have the right brush like the 208, you'll never go back. Now, you don't see me use this. I haven't used this in, like I said, a million years. I haven't used this. It's been years and years. Like, I didn't have a YouTube channel when I used to use this product. And I probably still won't use this every single day, because now that I have my brows microbladed and also just the timing involved with this kind of product, it's a bit more of a commitment. So if you have the time and you're really desperate for your brows to stay put, then it's worth it. Because look at that. Wow. It's just a wow product. Okay, that brow looks good. We're gonna move on to this bad boy. Fill in any other gaps and just generally make my brows look a bit thicker than they are. So I'm just dipping in and basically painting on my brow. Ooh. For a hot summer day, definitely worth the time to spend using this product. Oh yeah, I feel so much better about my life right now. So once again, give it up to these brows and the Unbeliever brow. That is bomb. Now we're gonna coat the brows. We're gonna be really delicate with them because my brows are still kind of healing from getting them microbladed my second time around. So I'm gonna finish it up with the L'Oreal Brow Lamination Gel. I particularly love the wand on this. It's nice and small. You can really get in there and coat your brows. So you can either go in on the side like that, or you can use the tip of the wand like I really like to do to give my brows a bit more of like a laminated effect. Great hold, not hurricane proof, but a really great hold without that flaky, dry, crusty look that some of the really, really strong hold brow gels will give you. The best at L'Oreal. Now, before we move on to the rest of our eye makeup, I'm going to take one more swipe of the L'Oreal bronzer and my N13 brush. I'm going to run this in the crease of my eye. You've seen me use this bronzer from L'Oreal in my crease as an eyeshadow a million times, so don't be afraid. If you haven't tried your bronzer in your crease as an eyeshadow yet, let this be your sign to do so, because they make the easiest on-the-go eyeshadows, and it just gives your makeup a cohesive look. All the tones are going to go together. It's going to be really soft and a bit more monochromatic. If you run, even if you have like an eyeshadow palette on, if you run your bronzer, like your face bronzer in your crease, or your blush that you're wearing, it'll give your makeup look that cohesiveness that it could be missing. So I ran this all over. And then one of my absolute favorite products, it's a newer product from L'Oreal. These are so good, not talked about enough, and I don't talk about them enough. I don't share them enough, but I am here to share them with you now. These are some of the best, if not the best, drugstore eyeshadow sticks, other than Milani. Milani kills it with their eyeshadow sticks, but L'Oreal does just as good of a job, except they don't have enough shades to choose from, in my opinion. But this is the shade Magnetic Bronze. This is my favorite one that they do have to offer. It's gorgeous. It's going to go on really creamy, really metallic, and once it dries down, it's going to stay put. You have to work pretty quickly with these. These actually do dry down relatively fast. So I'm going to do one eye at a time. I'm going to swipe this at the base of my eyelid and run this up towards the crease. Same N13, we're going to blend out the edge into the crease, give it a nice, quick, one and done eye makeup look, just like that. And look how pretty that shade is. Very wearable, will look good on everyone. These almost feel a little bit wet when you first apply them. They remind me a lot of the Half Magic Sparkle Sticks, where those kind of feel a little bit wet when they actually hit your eyes, and once they dry down, they don't move. Unless you layer them too much, they could flake. So with any shadow stick, especially a metallic one, the more you layer them, the drier the formula gets, and it starts to flake up on top of each other. So if you ever had the experience with the sparkle sticks from Half Magic or any of the shadow sticks like from Milani or L'Oreal, if you layer them too many times and you try to build up the intensity, they dry down and they dry down, and the layers start to crust up and start to flake up. So if you're experiencing flaking, it could be you're applying too many layers. So just a little FYI. All right, nice and blended. Eye makeup is almost done. Now I have to show you one of my favorite pencils from L'Oreal. This is a newer favorite I discovered recently, but this has quickly become a holy grail. This is the L'Oreal Infallible grip. It's a 36-hour, up to 36-hour gel eyeliner. To me, this is the best eyeliner formula from L'Oreal, like the best of the best. I have the shade Brown Denim. They also make it in black. Two staples. We're going to use this and tightline. Take a bit more, just a little bit in the outer portion. I'm trying not to go too dark with my eyes because we're going to go for a bold lip. I'm going to take my N11 brush with BK Beauty and just blend this out a touch. Perfect. Okay, now moving on. I'm going to try not to talk your ears off about all the mascaras from L'Oreal that I think are the best of the best. Now, it's probably not going to be a surprise here. My favorite is the L'Oreal Panorama Mascara. However, I did pick up, when I was going to restock my OG, I picked up this one. Now, I've not tried this one. This is the shade All Night Black. It's just supposed to be a blacker formula than the original, so I'm all about it. Like, let's try it out. Let's do it. Let's see if it holds up to the OG. I'm sure it does. It's the same formula, just a blacker formula. So, you know how they make like Carbon Black, Blackest Black, Midnight Black, Soft Black. Well, this is going to be the blackest black one. So L'Oreal Panorama, the best L'Oreal mascara in my opinion, and one that I absolutely always recommend to everyone that asks me for a drugstore recommendation. This is the one to get. But let's try out this new one, because why not? Sleek black packaging. Look at that wand. Oof. Same wand as the OG. Now let's see if this is a noticeably deeper black formula. Now the reason why I like this mascara is it never fails me. It doesn't flake on me. It doesn't smudge on me. It doesn't leave me with raccoon eyes throughout the day. So when I'm on the go and I want a reliable mascara that's affordable, I always grab this one. I've gone through so many tubes of this mascara, I can't even tell you. Okay, so it's definitely looking, it looks darker. It definitely looks a bit deeper. Same formula, but definitely a bit more intense. Oh, look at that. You just can't beat a good L'Oreal or a good drugstore mascara. They're unbeatable. I'm sorry. They just are. Okay, one more coat because I can't stop myself. Mascara is done. And look at those brows. Now, I did buy two products when I was picking up another mascara that just caught my eye that I've not tried from L'Oreal. So I can't speak if they're the best of L'Oreal, but I really want to put one on for this video. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to add a bit of the Brilliant Eyes liquid eyeshadow. I got two shades. I'll use the purple one in a look to come. But for this video, I'm going to put on a little bit of Rose Gem, which is this one right here. They're a liquid eyeshadow, they're metallic. I love both those things, so we're gonna put this on because why not? Take a bit with the doe foot applicator right in the center. Oh, comment below if you've tried these. I didn't know they existed, so we love discovering new good drugstore products. Wow. Oh, that's pretty. So again, I cannot speak and say this is like the best of L'Oreal. We're testing this product in particular for the first time, but I just really want a little bit of a halo look. Oh, wow. Bit here. I'm going to gently blend out the edges with the Angie A504. Again, just gently, so it's a softer blend. Wow. Oh, that's really pretty. I am going to be wearing this a lot. How did I not know? I mean, I don't remember ever seeing these, to be honest. Oh, that just opened up my eyes in such a beautiful way. I want to add more right below my pupil. Sometimes this can make me look like I'm crying, like the shimmer on the bottom lash line, but so far it's not. It looks really pretty. Let's go back to that Angie brush really quick. Softly blend that out. Stunning color. I absolutely love that color. Look at the glow on the cheek. Ooh, we're doing good. We're doing really good. I am loving, absolutely loving this look. All right, before we move on to the lips, I want to talk about three more honorable mentions that are what I consider the best mascaras from L'Oreal. So not just the Panorama, these are three honorable mentions that are absolutely must tries. So the newest one is the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal. I just picked this up in waterproof to test out for like long days and like things like that because I realized I don't have a waterproof mascara for myself personally. I only have them in my kit. So I'll keep you posted on how that wears. But the original formula I really like for like a lightweight feathery look to my lashes. The OG that I talked about really recently, I use this for my 2015 versus 2025 makeup look. I used to use this 10 years ago and I loved it and it still holds up to this day. The thing about this that is the most unique is by far the wand. If you like a skinny wand, if you have short lashes, if you have deep set eyes and you need a brush that's going to get in there and not make a mess, this is one to get. So L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, the original one, it still holds up to this day and it's still a holy grail for me, and I think one of the best L'Oreal mascaras they have to offer. And anything from the L'Oreal Voluminous family is going to be a hit and going to be a holy grail and definitely worth checking out. Particularly, I want to talk about the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. The eyelash primer. This is such a great alternative to like the more expensive ones from like Dior or YSL or any other brands out there that are more expensive. This works just as well in my opinion. This also works really great for just thickening up even the crappiest of mascaras. So if you have a mascara laying around, you want to like cocktail it and get more use out of it, if you put this on first, it will thicken up your lashes instantly and you could put any mascara on top and it'll make that formula look way, way better. So the L'Oreal Voluminous Base Primer for your lashes is one of the best products from L'Oreal. Okay, now we're moving on to lips. Now I'm going to swatch a few of the lip products I don't plan on wearing for this tutorial, but they're still like the best of L'Oreal and what they have to offer. 3 of which are newer. And I say 3, but just because I have 3 different shades of these. These are so good. These are the Plump Ambition Hyaluronic Lip Oils from L'Oreal. These are just as good as high-end, just as good as luxury lip oils. They do give you quite a bit of plumping and quite a bit of tingle, so they're very, very impactful. If you cannot handle the tingle and the sensation, then skip these. But if you're all about it and you want something that actually works that's drugstore, then you have to try these out. I love these. L'Oreal did such a killer job of these products. And then lipstick wise, I think that L'Oreal makes some of the best lipsticks as well. My favorite lipstick formula from L'Oreal that is absolutely worth the money, and they have some really gorgeous shades to choose from. Rich berries, reds, nudes, and pinks. But this one in particular is the shade 143, and this is a beautiful matte mauve. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So if you want a matte formula from the drugstore, this one from L'Oreal is stunning. Look at that bad boy. We're not going to be using any of the Plump Ambitions. Instead, I want to show you what this formula looks like. Now, honorable mention, I want to call it this shade. This shade is so freaking stunning. This is a shade 105 Breakfast in Bed. One more swatch and then we'll get to the actual lip that we're going to be using, okay? So these are extremely long wearing. If you want like a nice pinky nude that has like a little bit of a mauve hue to it, oh, Breakfast in Bed, you have to get. And the one that I'm going to put on my lips in just a bit is the red from L'Oreal. Now these are lip stain. They're like a liquid lipstick. These are budge proof. Once they dry down, they ain't going anywhere. I recommend these to one of my girlfriends recently who does makeup for her granddaughter who's in like cheer, and she needed like a budge proof lipstick that's red. And I was like, get the L'Oreal because these are like incredible. So we're gonna be using this today. Now, the lip liners from L'Oreal, they've never impressed me. They're really nothing to write home about. However, I did pick one up just to continue on the full face of L'Oreal, but just know that I don't think they're that great. I think that there's plenty of other drugstore lip liners that are much better. I feel like L'Oreal needs to step up their game with their lip liners. That's the only criticism I have for L'Oreal, really. But I did find a color that I wanted to test out and use for this video. This is the color Riche in the shade Toffee to Be. They're a twist up pencil, but again, I don't think their lip liners are anything special at all, and they just need more. So hopefully they get on that. I would love to see like an actual pencil from them and just more shades in their lip liners. So we're gonna start this lip look with a nice neutral earth tone because I'll be doing a red lipstick, and you know I love to pair an earth tone, specifically a brown earth tone. Now topping it with the most beautiful classic red. This is 420 Le Rouge Paris. Also comes with a doe foot for easy application. Starting this in the center. Ooh, that's pretty. Gosh. I have not done a red lipstick in so long. But when I think about L'Oreal and like their color story, it's red. So it just felt very appropriate to bust this one out for this. It's just so good. It's so pretty and so good. I love this formula, and I'm wondering why I don't wear red lipstick more often because it is such an impactful and pretty look. Now to finish up this full face of products I think are the best of L'Oreal, I'm not going to use their actual setting spray because I'm not a big fan of it, to be fully honest with you. It is there. I know a lot of people that like it. I just don't really enjoy this one very much, so I'm going to skip this even though it is L'Oreal. I'm going to skip it for today just in case you're wondering at home. I don't think it's like the best product that L'Oreal's ever come out with, and I don't want to risk ruining my makeup, so I'm going to go for something more tried and true, my Anastasia Impeccable setting spray to finish up this look. And that is the finished look using only the best of what L'Oreal has to offer. This was such a fun look to do for you all. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I think is the best of L'Oreal and what they have to offer. Comment below. Let me know what your favorite L'Oreal foundation is specifically, because there are so many good ones and there's so many favorites as you saw me talk about and show you in this video. I really hope you enjoyed this look. I love how it came out. The lip is such a good classic red. If you're wanting a red on a budget that's long wearing, get this one. I'll leave everything linked in the description below. I hope you enjoyed seeing this look, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love to see you in future videos. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out and really helps out my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. I gotta tell you, I love the way that look came out for the L'Oreal video. I love the lip. I love the eyes. It was a very achievable makeup look, and it's a very wearable makeup look. Even though it was a full glam look, I felt very pretty and very confident in that makeup look. And hopefully if you tried it out, you felt the same way. But if you enjoyed that video, let me know in the comments below. I do plan on doing more best of one particular brand in 2026. In fact, I thought I was going to do a lot more of those videos, but time just got away from me and there were other videos that were more pressing than filming those. But I do have quite a list of brands I'll be diving into, giving you the best of, in my opinion, for 2026. So stay tuned for those. All right, now this next video that we're going to watch together is makeup tips that everyone should know. And this is one of my favorite videos that I filmed in 2025. Anytime I get to sit down and just basically like brain dump is the best way I can describe it. All like the tips and like those little things that I've learned over the years of being a makeup artist, now of 18 years. All those tips that I could think of that are just, they're maybe not like the ones you think of often, but they're ones that you should definitely be using. And they're all very digestible. They're all very easy, I promise you. Nothing is overcomplicated. They're all real life tips and tricks that you can utilize in your everyday makeup routine, whether you're a beginner, somewhere in the middle, advanced. And I don't care what age you are, any age can use these tips and you will see so much success and so much improvement if you're seeking it in your makeup application. So grab a pen and paper. This video is chocked full of tips and I really hope you enjoy seeing this either for the first time or for the second time, or if you just have me on the background. Either way, let's enjoy makeup tips everyone should know together. As a makeup artist of 17 years, I have so many makeup tips I have picked up along the way, and I'm here to sit down and share them with you. So sit back, relax, because these are some makeup tips that everyone should know about. All the makeup questions that I could possibly get asked, whether it's on social media, on YouTube, I get asked on a regular basis, what's the best primer? Nikki, what primer do you recommend for this? Nikki, is this primer good for this? What primer should I be using? And if you are not new to my channel, you're already going to know the answer to this. So if you know the answer, let's shout it out together. You don't need a primer. I'm going to say it louder for the people in the back. You don't need a primer. You just need a good skincare routine, one that is specific to your skin, your skin's needs, what your skin is needing at that time. So even seasonally speaking, what your skin needs at that time. The best primer, and I will die on this hill, is going to be a good skincare routine. But in terms of specific products that do a great job of actually priming your skin before makeup, one of the best and most underrated makeup tips that you could utilize is using a good sunscreen that lays well under makeup, that dries down, that's good for all skin types, and will give your makeup a grip. This is one of my top recommendations and has been for a while now. I will be buying this for the rest of my life. So please, Paula's Choice, don't discontinue this one. This is one of the best, if not the best, sunscreens to wear underneath your makeup. This will lay down under your makeup perfectly. It will not pill. It will not cause a slip and slide effect. It will give your makeup something to adhere to and something to cling onto, hence like a primer. But this has SPF 50 in it. It's going to give you a lightweight moisturizing effect, and it is just perfection under makeup. But here's a tip too that you might not be thinking about. If you're using a sunscreen as a primer, or if you're using it in general under your makeup, which you should be, and if you've been watching my channel, you probably are already doing this, and I applaud you if you are, and I'm proud of you. The one thing that is underrated that you need to be doing if you're using a sunscreen as a primer is letting it fully dry down. Now, the reality is we don't always have time to do this. I don't always have time to do this, but when I can, I do, because it makes a big difference in the priming effect that your sunscreen will give under your makeup. You need to let your sunscreen dry down for 15 minutes. I know, 15 minutes. But here's the good news. There are so many other things you could utilize and knock out in those 15 minutes. I promise you, I've done all the things and I have tips. Make your coffee, feed your dogs, feed your baby, feed your husband, feed your girlfriend, feed whoever is around you, feed yourself, do your eyebrows, plan out your outfit, pack your lunch, all these things, do some laundry. There's a million things you could do. You could be curling your lashes. You could be putting some individual lashes on. You could be doing anything, putting your body lotion on, getting dressed, doing your hair. I think I've said enough. So utilize those 15 minutes to the best of your ability. But I'm telling you, if you wait that full 15 minutes to let your sunscreen properly dry down, and it does take 15 minutes, honestly, sometimes even 20, depending on how much skincare you have underneath. But let it dry down fully, because this will minimize the slip and slide effect. This will give your foundation the utmost grip onto your sunscreen, hence the priming aspect, and it'll help your makeup lay much better throughout the day. And honestly, it won't disrupt your sunscreen being as effective as possible. So sometimes if you slap on your sunscreen, you slap your foundation right on top, it can interfere with that product actually doing its job, which is to protect your skin from the sun. Now listen, if you're that person that gives yourself only 5 minutes before you have to hit the door and hit the road, I got you. I have a hack for you. Try it out and let me know what you think, because it's a game changer. If you don't have those 15 minutes, grab a handheld fan, an electric fan. They sell these on at Amazon for like $5 or $10. I use them in my pro kit. Use a fan, use a piece of paper, dry it down. Use a blow dryer if you need to on cool. Dry your sunscreen down. And this is the ultimate hack to get the job done quick so you don't have that idle 15 minutes to kill. Makeup tip number 2 that everyone should know and everyone should be doing and everyone should be utilizing, because I'm telling you, it will change the game for you. If you have dry under eyes, and we all to some degree have dry under eyes, we don't produce as much moisture under our eyes than we do as the rest of our skin. Skin under our eyes is also a lot more delicate, a lot thinner, and a lot more prone to crepiness and dryness under the eyes. So you would think, go out, buy the richest, creamiest, most greasiest, most moisturizing, most emollient under eye cream as possible, right? To moisturize and like hydrate that under eye area before you put your concealer on, because it's going to look better if you do a really thick moisturizer and then you put your concealer on top. Oh my gosh. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Wrong. You're wrong.
This is the wrongest answer. I mean, no shade to anyone who's doing this. I totally get the mindset. I totally get it, because when I was first starting out in makeup, this is what I was taught. This is what I was told to do. And then I learned better. And the better way is to use essences and toners under your eyes first, before anything. Hard stop. Before you put anything else under your eyes, even eye patches. Instead, essences and toners are going to change quite literally your under eye game, your under eye concealer game, and just your under eyes in general. These are some of my favorites. Let me show you how to use them. With anything in makeup, it's always best to follow the thinnest to thickest rule, and that includes under your eyes. So if you were using a thick eye cream under your eyes and you're putting a soupy concealer on top, guess what's going to happen? That thick eye cream, it's never going to dry down. Not fully anyway. Especially if it's really thick, it's going to just seep into your skin a little bit. But overall, you're not going to be able to absorb all that thickness and all that rich cream under your eyes. It's just impossible, okay? So when you put your concealer on top, what's going to happen is you're going to end up using much more powder to lock it down, to set into place, and to dry it, which ultimately leads to your under eyes looking cakier, heavier, creasier, and crepier, and just more aged. It's also going to lead to your concealer slipping around and moving around under your eyes throughout the day, which is incredibly frustrating. And ultimately, it's not going to give you the same plumping effect that a good hydrating toner or essence is going to give you. Some of my favorites. Let me start with my number 1 favorite that I've been using for a million years now. Since it's been out, honestly, it's the Fenty Skin Fat Water. There's 2. The Fat Water Milky Essence Toner. This is the one to get, the Hydrating Milky Essence Toner. The other one is more for like larger pores. It's more of like an exfoliating toner, good for like acne prone skin. This is the opposite. This is more milky, more moisturizing. Product like this is going to give you the plumpest, smoothest skin under your eyes. So I'm just going to pour a little bit out so I can show you the texture. It's almost like a hybrid between a toner and a serum. It's got a little bit more thickness to it, hence it's not running down my hand really quick. But what this does to hydrate your under eyes is a actual game changer. This is one of the best makeup tips I've given anyone. So anyone that's been around me, I will tell them, don't use a thick eye cream. Just skip it. Save it for nighttime, because that's actually the best time to use it, because you know what? You're not putting concealer under your eyes at night when you're going to bed. So slap it on, goop it on, gob it on, do whatever you want. Pop some Vaseline on top to really lock it in. The world is your oyster at night. You can do whatever you want, because your makeup isn't trying to sit on top and trying to penetrate and dry down on top of that thick cream. But a toner, what it does is it instantly fills in those crepey fine lines, the crow's feet, all the things, all the crevices under our eyes, all the folds, everything like that. And that hydration, what it does is it instantly gives the look of more plump, smooth skin, because it's filling in all those really tiny fine lines that we have, those micro fine lines, those deeper fine lines. It's filling it all in. And once your skin is hydrated, it's kind of like when you put a good moisturizer on your hands instantly look like 5 or 10 years younger. It's the same idea. It's the same effect. So put that toner under your eyes. I promise you, you will never go back to not doing it. Now, when you're searching for a toner that's going to be good for your entire face under the eyes, let's say you have just like normal skin, your under eyes, they're not particularly dry, they're just normal. You could go for any kind of toner. Honestly, you could put anything under your eyes. It's going to be just fine. It's going to give you a really great effect. When you're starting to get like 30 plus or even like 25 plus, honestly, in your age, and you're starting to see your skin under your eyes get a little bit drier and a little bit drier, then you're really going to want to search for toners that have the word milky in it. So if they have the word milky in it, creamy, things like that, then you know it's going to be even more moisturizing and even more like emollient under your eyes than a regular water-based, more like watery texture toner will be. So the Anua is one of my new favorites that I've been loving, and another new favorite that is unbelievable, as a full face toner, as a full face milky essence, but especially clutch under the eyes. I have been blowing through this product. It's the prequel half and half. It's half peptides, half ceramides. It's a fluid moisturizer. So this is supposed to soothe, moisturize, and boost your barrier function in your skin. Now this is of course gonna be amazing for all over. I love putting this on my hands, and I love putting the hand wrap from prequel also on top to lock that in and to lock the moisture in all day, because I wash my hands 45,000 times a day as a makeup artist. But this under the eyes is no joke, unreal. Now one of my other favorite things to do if you have really, really dry under eyes, and when I'm working with clients that specifically have really, really dry under eyes, I like to layer the toners. So I'll start with the Fenty Beauty toner under the eyes. I'll put eye patches on top. I'll lock it in. Once I remove those eye patches, I'll clean up the area from like eye makeup that I've just applied on my client, and then I'll do another round of the milky toner. Then I'll lock it in with a lightweight moisturizer and then call it a day. And when I say lightweight moisturizer, I mean it. I mean a lightweight moisturizer, something that feels like a lotion, not a thick, rich, greasy, balmy cream that's just going to crease my client's under eyes. Okay. Now, one that I want to talk about that is very popular between this one and the Vitamin Enriched Eye Base from Bobbi Brown. They're really old school products. They're really classic staples. However, I disagree with how they perform underneath concealer. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. As a makeup artist, I've tried them a million times and they've always done me a little dirty because they are too thick and they are just too rich. I promise you, I'm onto something with this, okay? So this product, I'm gonna grab a small amount. I'm gonna pre-work it into my hand. The last thing I want you to do is go in with a product like this that is thick and that is rich and slap it on under your eyes, especially when your under eyes are dry. Now, one of the last things I want you to ever do, makeup-wise, is to slap on a thick, rich eye cream like this on top of dry skin. Like physically, feeling wise, dry skin. So like, let's say you just jumped out of the shower, you're about to do your eye makeup, but first you're like, hang on, let me grab my eye cream because that's what I've been told a million times to do. So you grab your thick, rich eye cream and you put it on skin that doesn't look like this. Okay, if you're going to use it, a moisturizer, an eye cream, any kind of lotion on top of your eyes should start out looking like this, nice and hydrated and plumped and smooth with any milky toner. And then you could pop those rich eye creams on. But honestly, like I said, put those on at night because the chances are they're going to slip your concealer all around your face. It's going to be a slip and slide soupy effect and it's going to do you no justice. Now, one of the best moisturizers for under the eyes is just whatever sunscreen you're using. I'm going to go back to my Paula's Choice and we're going to lock in those toners now under the eyes with a bit of the Paula's Choice because this is going to act like a perfect lightweight moisturizer that's going to seal in those hydrating toners under our eyes, and it's not going to cause them to crease and slip and slide like a water slide. So if you have any good toners laying around at home, trust me, put them under your eyes, layer it if you need it, repeat it if you need it, if you have really dry under eyes, and you will thank me later. The next makeup tip is going to be for anyone who is intimidated by color correctors. And I'm not talking about like more natural, more neutral, very like subtle color correctors, like let's say from Halle Ray, for example. This one's really nice, really neutral. It's not as intimidating as using something like the Huda Beauty or any classic orange or red color corrector. Now, these can be pretty intimidating. However, they are high impact. They are going to color correct what you need to color correct, okay? But I hear you if you're someone who is intimidated by using something like this, something as intense as a color corrector. If you're not a makeup artist, if you don't know color theory, I get it and I got you. Here's a great tip to utilize if you are intimidated by your bright red or orange or even bright pink color corrector that you might have at home. Instead of going straight in with your color corrector and applying a crazy amount like that, which is very hard to cover, very hard to blend out, very intimidating, and what you see a lot on social media, this is the wrong way to do it, okay? Don't do this much color corrector, honestly, ever, okay? Instead, what I want you to do is take a small amount of your color corrector and a small amount of your under eye concealer, whatever concealer works for you under your eyes, and you're going to mix equal parts, just like that. Take a smaller concealer brush. This is my N16 brush, and I'm going to take the tip of the brush and blend the two worlds together. And what you're going to be left with is a much more balanced color and much less intimidating than going out with just these straight up orange or red color correctors. So take the mixture of the two. And you're going to put it just where you need it, okay? Nowhere else. Don't waste the product. It's just not going to be useful. You don't need to put it anywhere else, only where you see that darker area of your under eyes where you have some discoloration, maybe some blueness coming popping through, maybe some purple popping through, whatever form of dark under eye circles you have popping through, that's where you want to put this little concoction. So I'm just pressing this in. Now you'll notice I'm taking this and I'm just tapping this in because I want the utmost control. I'm not going in and blending it back and forth. Like, again, you see a lot of creators, especially on like short form content, just going back and forth and buffing. Take your brush, slow it down, and tap it and press it. This is going to give you the maximum results in the area that you need the maximum amount of color correction. You don't typically need color correction all up and down your under eyes. If you do, then use more. But generally speaking, you typically just need it right here in this inner part of your under eyes, and sometimes a little bit in this inner corner, right where your top and bottom lash line meet. But less is more. And using a mixture of your color corrector with your concealer is going to be way less intimidating, way easier to cover up, and way easier to blend out, and just way easier for you to use and to manage. So once that's applied, I'm going to use the tip of the brush, and I'm going to blend out the edges just ever so softly. Now we're going to go over on this side and try to tap in all that orange color corrector. And again, this is how you see people on social media doing it. And this is not what you need to do. This is not accurate. This is wasteful. And it just is unnecessary to the umpth degree. So then what you also see people do immediately after this is grab their bright concealer and swipe it right on top. This is going to create a disaster and a soupy doopy mess. And these colors are going to mix together, making a really muddied effect under your eyes. But again, is just not necessary. So now I'm going to take one drop of a very full coverage concealer. This is the Hourglass one still. Pop it just on top of the areas that we just color corrected. I am going to switch to a different brush. This is my BK Beauty N14, and I'm going to use a tapping motion only. The reason for this is because you don't want to disrupt that color corrector that's underneath by swiping and digging into it. So just lightly tap it in. Avoid any areas of your under eyes that you don't need the coverage, because that's just going to end up creasing, and less is more when you're working under your eyes. And if you're already experiencing creasing and you're working with layers of product, the thinner the layers, the better. So that's one side done and color corrected. Minimal products, maximum results. Now, let's try to tap this in. Let me show you what ends up happening. You end up with a cakey, soupy mess under your eyes that is just wasteful, and nobody needs to apply this much product. I just can't. Okay, so now I have a full cheek cover with the amount of concealer that I popped on top, the amount of concealer that I had to use in order to cover up the amount of color corrector that I placed under my eyes, which is what you see people doing all the time on like short form content like TikTok, Instagram, you get it. So this is the right way to color correct, and this is the way that I want you to not color correct. Try this at home if you're intimidated by those bright color correctors. Use equal parts and thank me later. One really common makeup problem that I get asked about all the time is getting your foundation to stick to your nose. Now, this is something that I have a problem with. This is something that, based on the comments and all the feedback that I get from a lot of you have this exact same problem as well. And that is your foundation does not stick or adhere well to your nose. It slips off, and it just doesn't stick like it does for the rest of your face, like your cheeks, your forehead, your chin, you know what I mean? The rest of your face, your foundation tends to stick a lot better. But when it comes to our nose, there is something about our nose that is really slippery, okay? I don't know what it is. I can't really explain it, technically speaking, but all I could tell you is foundation tends to not stick to our nose. Here's a tip to use that is a game changer. Before you put foundation on, if your makeup is not sticking to your nose, if your foundation just doesn't stick to your nose, or even your concealer doesn't stick to your nose, take a really small amount of your best setting powder. I'm not talking about your cheap one. I'm not talking about your pressed powder that's for touch-ups. I'm not talking about your powder foundation. I'm talking about a good loose powder that's meant to set and lock your makeup into place. Take that and a small brush, and let me show you what to do. Pop it into the cap, work that into the brush. You don't want an excessive amount of product. You just want enough to dry down the surface of your nose. So I'm taking this with my N14 brush. It's the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Cupcake. You want to make sure it's translucent so it's not going to affect the color of your foundation once the foundation goes on top. So something nice and translucent or close to your skin tone is going to work the best. And you're just going to work this on top, any of the areas of your nose where your foundation tends to not stick and just slide right off. For me, it's like the bulb of my nose right here and a little around my nostrils. So I'm going to hit those areas and just tap it on just like that. Then you could go in with your foundation of choice, take your foundation brush, work the product into the brush. And another helpful tip is to not buff too aggressively back and forth, but instead utilize a tapping motion to press this onto the skin and to especially get it to adhere to your nose. And also, you don't want to break up that powder too much. You want to just push this on top of that powder so the foundation grips onto the powder that's gripping onto your nose. This is a game changer for anyone who has a hard time getting their foundation to stick. Try this out and let me know what you think. This next makeup tip is specifically for anyone who has oily skin and lack of brows. If you're like me, try this technique, and if you're not already doing this technique, you are missing out. Grab a small brush, grab your setting powder. This is again the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder, something that has a good amount of oil control. To me, this powder controls oil so well. So does the Makeup Forever Original HD. That one is like phenomenal for controlling oil and shine all throughout the day. But honestly, most powders are going to work just fine. So grab your loose powder of choice and a small brush, again my N14, powder your eyebrows just lightly, not like crazy, but powder them before you fill them in with a brow pencil, because if you have oily skin and you also wear sunscreen, skincare, liquid foundation, all those things, your eyebrow pencil is just not going to be able to penetrate and to grip onto your skin, like your bare skin that you need to fill in and fake it till you make it with your brow pencil or your brow pomade or whatever your brow product is. Your brow product of choice is just not going to stick to your skin if you don't powder it. So if you've ever had a hard time, if you ever found yourself extremely frustrated with how your product is sticking to your bare brows, try this. It's going to change your brow game forever. Now, honestly, I didn't make this up. I'm pretty sure I saw Christine Dominique use this technique on her channel a long time ago. I know that many other people use this technique. It's been around for a while, but it's something that's underrated. And if you have oily skin and also lack of an eyebrow and you really need to fill it in and really fill in those gaps and you need your brow product to stick to your skin so you can actually fill in your brow, then this is just ultimately a life-changing hack and a tip that you should definitely be doing. A new favorite brow pencil is the one from Review Beauty. I'm going to take this, and now that I have powdered my eyebrows, guess what, my friends? It's actually going to stick and adhere to my skin. It's going to grip on because it's going on top of a dry surface and not like a slip and slide, wet, greasy area under my brows. So try this, then fill in your brows, and the impact that you'll get is going to change your brow game forever, especially in the areas that you don't have any brow hair, where it's just bare, slippery skin. That's where you really want to make sure you concentrate that powder and you really get that powder on to those really sparse areas, because if you don't have brow hair, your brow pencil doesn't have anything to stick to but like slick skin. Bonus tip is this really helps with the longevity of your brow pencils. So if you notice your brow pencil is kind of fading throughout the day, getting super shiny throughout the day as you're wearing them, and your brows just don't tend to last as well as they could and as well as you want them to, try this, because it's going to increase the wear time of your brows by a landslide. And again, it's just going to eliminate so much frustration when you're trying to get their brow pencils to actually stick and to work. So I'm taking my pencil and lightly filling in all those really bald areas of my brows. I'm telling you, if you try this technique, your brows will always come out perfect. Long-lasting brows, they're gonna stay put all day long. One of my best and favorite makeup tips that I highly recommend you use, and if you're not doing this already, if you're new to my channel, you haven't heard me talk about this in the past, well, welcome. This tip is gonna change the game, and that is using an under-eye concealer, but letting it dry down almost fully. You heard me right, almost fully before you blend it out and before you set it with powder. Now here's why. If you just go in right away with that wet concealer and you go and you blend it out and you think you're doing the right thing because you're blending it out and all that good stuff, there's two things that are happening, okay? You're not able to maintain the same amount of coverage. So when you start blending it out right away, when it's really, really wet, you have less control, which is not good, because you want to concentrate in those areas that you need the most coverage. That way your makeup doesn't look cakey and you don't end up putting more product in areas that you don't even want it to be there in the first place. So by allowing it to dry down, it gives you the utmost control and it gives you the maximum amount of coverage, okay? So by blending it out right away, you lose a good percentage of that coverage. I'd say you probably lose about 30%, maybe 40% of that coverage by blending it out while it's still wet. Now, this side, what I like to do is do a little pre-baby blend, and this is what I mean by that. Take your same brush, and you're just gonna spread it out just lightly, okay? Very, very light pressure. I'm not pushing it in, I'm not tapping it in. I'm really barely moving it around, just like that. Move it around to the areas that you need it the most, okay? Just like this, ever so slightly, just like that. Now, we're not done blending it. We still have harsh edges, we still have lines we need to blend out, but I'm gonna let this sit and dry down to like 90% before I actually finish blending it out, before I buff out the edges, and before I set it with powder. So we're gonna let this chill, we're gonna let this do its thing. In the meantime, do your eye makeup, do your mascara, do your lip, do anything you can to fill the time so you're not wasting the time while this dries down, because you're gonna maintain the maximum, and I'm talking like the maximum amount of coverage. But the biggest benefit, honestly, to letting your concealer dry down to like 90% is it allows you to use way less powder to set it into place and to lock it down so it lasts all day without creasing. And that's a big talking point, because a lot of people that I talk to, they don't want to put too much powder in their eyes. They think it looks heavy, dry, patchy, you name it. I've heard it all. So by doing this technique, it allows you to use the minimalist amount of powder in order to set your under eye concealer. So it's such a win-win. All All right, we're back. We let this under eye dry down 90%. I'm gonna take that same brush, and then all you're gonna do is use the tip of the brush or any brush that has longer bristles on the end. Take that brush and you're gonna blend out the edges so it's nice and seamless into the rest of your makeup. And so there's no harsh edges and it's really well blended. So now we have the maximum amount of coverage because we let it dry down fully, which is gonna allow us to use a lot less powder to lock it into place. So I'm gonna take my N14 brush and just a small amount of the Huda Beauty Easy Bake. A small amount will do you. Press it, never dig it in. Press it, and then you could just gently buff out the edges around your nose. And you're good. You're golden. This is going to look so lightweight, so natural, especially in person. So if you have in-person events, if you're going into the office and you don't want to look like you have a ton of makeup under your eyes, please use this technique. I'm telling you, it will change the game under your eyes. There's so many ways to contour your nose. It is not even funny. There are so many hacks, so many videos, so many how-tos, so many people yelling at you on short form content on do this way, do that way, don't do it this way, don't do it this way. I'm just going to simplify it for you. And if you have ever struggled with your nose contour and you just want a really quick, easy way to do it that looks ultimately very, very natural and takes minimal effort and minimal skill, then I got you. Take your matte powder bronzer or your cream. Either one is going to work just fine. I'm going to use a matte powder bronzer. This is the one from Dior. It's a brand new one. It's beautiful on, very smoothing. But again, cream one if you want to use a cream. Liquid if you want to use a liquid bronzer, powder, whichever formula you choose, you can use this technique and this easy makeup tip, and it's going to give you perfect natural results every single time. So what you're gonna need is a smaller fluffy brush. This is my BK Beauty N15 powder brush. You're gonna dip into your bronzer, tap off the excess for safe measure so you don't have too much product on the brush at once. But again, honestly, it's foolproof, this technique. So if you do end up with too much on your brush, don't even worry about it. You're gonna be able to fix it. So take the brush and you're just going to apply this very nonchalantly, like no big deal, all over your nose. So I'm kind of hitting the side of my nose, right? I'm hitting the tip of my nose. I'm dipping in for more. Hit the tip of the nose pretty well. Get it all over. Get the sides. Get it all up on your nose, basically, okay? And it doesn't matter what the formula is. Let me just remind you again. So whatever formula you prefer, you can utilize this technique. You'll just want to switch out your brush depending on what the formula is. Very easy, like no big deal. And this is going to look like the most natural nose contour, especially if you're walking around your day-to-day life, if you're going into the office, if you're on a Zoom call, if you're doing whatever it is. The last thing you want is those very unnatural prison bar type contour stripes along the side of your nose. And you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like that really bad nose contour we've all done. I've done it. We've all done in the past. Do this instead because it's going to look so natural and it's going to be so easy. So once you have your bronzer all over your nose, it's going to look a little something like this. Okay? A little funky, but we're going to switch it. We're going to fix it quick and easy. Close up your bronzer, grab your under eye concealer. Now, preferably your under eye concealer is going to be just a little bit lighter than the rest of your complexion. This is going to give you the best effect. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer in the shade N4. N4 is a little bit more brighter on me, a little bit more of like a highlighting under eye concealer. So I use this usually with a color corrector to color correct and then brighten the areas that I want to bring out and enhance. I also use this all the time to highlight the side of my nose. So let me show you the best technique. You're going to take your wand with your concealer and you're just going to do this. You're going to line this up straight down the side of your nose, but you're going to stop where your nostrils are and you're going to bring this out like that. Same thing, line this up. And what I like to do visually is use the end of my brow as a guide on where to start this, okay? So let's say this is my guide. The end of my brow is right here. You would bring that right down and that's where you want to start that nose highlight. And then once you have your initial line drawn, skip the nostrils. It's not gonna look very natural. And just bring it lightly down like that. Now the next part of this tip is you're gonna take a small flat brush, something that's more precise. It's gonna give you a lot of control. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy A505, one of my favorites. The reason for that is because I'm gonna use the side of the brush. I'm gonna dip into the Natasha concealer, wipe off the excess so it's not overwhelming. Less is more. And you're gonna take the side of the brush. Now, if you don't have a steady hand, instead of swiping straight down and trying to get a straight line, which I feel you is really difficult, especially if you've had too much caffeine or if you have not had enough caffeine. So instead of swiping straight down your nose, just use small tapping motions because this is going to be a lot easier for most people to get done in a straight line than one quick swoop, which is very intimidating and very difficult to do. So just do little tapping motions. And end it right at the bulk of your nose, not too far down. If you end it higher up, it will give your nose a little bit of like a lifted, more like a button effect. So if you want to give the tip of your nose a lift, stop it up here, don't drag it all the way down. Now once that's applied, go back in with your blending brush. This is again my N16 brush, and I'm going to use this first in a tapping motion, then I'm going to feather it out to the rest of my makeup so it's nice and natural, and it just blends in seamlessly with the rest of my makeup. If you have too much product on your brush left over, wipe it off, take the tip of the brush and just melt this in and blend in the edge of where the concealer starts and where the bronzer starts. So it's nice and it's seamless and it doesn't look like a heavy, unnatural nose contour. Same thing, I'm just gonna tap it in. I'm gonna blend out the edge. And last but not least, take the N16 again, and you're not going to blend in a swiping motion, you're going to blend in a tapping motion just to melt this in to the bridge of the nose, being really careful not to spread it out too far. So using gentle pressure and just tapping it in. And of course that is after you let it dry down almost fully, so you maintain the maximum amount of control so it doesn't move everywhere that you don't want it to move. Bonus tip, and this is for someone who is really, really oily. So if you're not oily and you're using this trick, skip this next part. But if you're really oily like me, like I'm talking really, really oily, try this with this technique. Game over. You'll never go back to nose contour the way you were doing it before. Same Huda Beauty powder in the shade Cupcake. Tap out a generous amount into your cap. Gonna go back to my N14 brush, dip into, again, a generous amount because we're gonna do a little mini bake on the side of our nose only. So taking the brush, you're just gonna pop it right where we have that lighter concealer along the side of our nose. And you're gonna let this bake for at least 10 minutes if you can. If you go too low, dust it off before it has any impact. And again, for oily people only, go back to that Anti-Hot Flashy A505, pick up more of that loose powder. And this is optional and honestly really only if you have a very oily nose. I always skip this one, but it's a great technique to show you just in case you need extra brightening and oil control throughout the day. You're gonna hit that same area that you highlighted earlier. It's going to bring it out and enhance it even more. So if you want even more impact, bake all of the areas that you highlighted with concealer with a like-minded bright powder. Let that dry down, let it soak in for a good 10 minutes, and then you are nose contoured to perfection, all while looking much more natural than the typical jail bar stripes that we see happening all the time. 10 minutes is up, dust off the excess with that same N14 brush, and your nose is contoured naturally, all while maintaining oil control all throughout the day. Try this one, let me know what you think. An underrated makeup tip that I really want you to test out and I really want you to try is using your powder highlighter. Any formula powder highlighter that you have laying around. If you're like me and you've collected a million over the years and you just can't stop yourself from buying, oddly enough, powder highlighters, like I just picked up this new Dior one, I don't regret it. I have zero regrets. It's absolutely beautiful. But if you're like me, and you have a ton of powder highlighters. If you have not tried putting your powder highlighter on a cream blush, you are missing out. Let me show you what this looks like. It's so beautiful, so underrated, and a tip that everyone should know to do. So you're gonna take whatever powder highlighter that you love of your choice that you have laying around at home. You're gonna take a flat brush, something smaller. This is my N17. I'm gonna use the back side of it, the darker fiber side, and I'm gonna swipe into this beautiful powder highlighter. Now, this is going to be an amazing trick for anyone who wants their powder highlighter to show up more naturally and more of like a glow from within, lit from within look, especially when you're walking around in daylight, face to face, seeing people at work, out at school, or wherever you're going. If you want more of a natural effect to your powder highlighters, try this technique. It's a game changer. So I'm going to take that Dior highlighter, and this is in the shade Vol.2 Gold Halo, and you're going to hit all the usual places, but I like to start in a tapping and then swiping motion just to really melt this into my skin. And this is one of the best tricks to make your powder highlighters just ultimately appear much more natural in person. In photos, powder highlighter looks amazing, but in person they could tend to look a little makeup-y, a little heavy, and they could tend to just sit on top of your skin. And if you're someone who has more texture or larger pores on their cheeks, this is also really great technique that I highly encourage you to test out. So once you have the desired amount of powder highlighter on your cheek, let me switch it up, do this side and get this side done. Get it all over or any of the areas that you want to highlight and glow. You can bring this up towards your temple, but once it's applied, you're gonna take any cream blush of choice, any formula that you like. I love the West Atelier. I love the ones from Sweet. I'm gonna use this one from Sweet. It's a beautiful cream formula. The new ones from Rare Beauty, this works fantastic with any cream blush formulas, okay? Any of them. Liquids too, you could definitely put a liquid on top as well, but specifically creams on top of powder highlighters look absolutely jaw-droppingly gorgeous. So take your cream blush of choice. Same brush, I'm gonna use the front side of the N17. This has some leftover foundation on it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna dip into this beautiful peachy cream blush from Sweet. It's in the shade Lush. Now, once I have a decent amount on my brush, I'm gonna do a little pre-blend just to make sure it's nice and evenly coated on my brush before it hits my skin. This will avoid a lot of blending back and forth and give you the most perfect flawless finish every time. So once your brush looks like this, you're gonna take it and just pat this literally right on top of that powder highlighter. Now, another bonus tip that's kind of unexpected, but it's a bonus tip and it's worth calling out, is by applying your cream blush on top of that powder highlighter, it actually gives your cream blush a lot more longevity. So if you have a problem with your makeup lasting throughout the day, if you have a problem with your cream blush not sticking to your skin, not lasting and fading really quickly throughout the day, and if you don't want to layer a powder blush on top, which is ultimately the best way to lock in your cream blush for longevity and for high impact and for more color intensity, if you don't want to do that, if you love to glow underneath, pop your cream blush on top of your powder highlighter. It will give it much more longevity throughout the day, and it will give it this beautiful, soft, radiant, lit from within look. It almost gives you like this glass glossy skin look, but with a powder. So it's really an interesting technique. It's something that I highly recommend everyone tries out. So if you have a cream blush at home and a powder highlighter at home, I'm telling you, reverse the order of application and you will get the softest, most beautiful, lit from within look to your cream blush. A bonus, extra longevity, and also another bonus, if you have textured skin, it's gonna look a lot softer than popping a powder highlighter on top. So try this at home. It's an underrated makeup tip that I know you'll enjoy. Okay, last makeup tip for this video is one that you've seen me do a million times on my channel in like short form videos, on my Instagram, on my TikTok, wherever you find my makeup videos, you've probably seen me do this technique a million times, okay? It's underrated and I don't always call out why I'm doing it, but if you've been around for a while, you're gonna know the answer to why I do this technique, and that is taking a small amount of powder and powdering your lips prior to your lip liner and especially your lipstick. And if you've ever had a hard time with your lipstick feathering throughout the day or just not lasting throughout the day, then trust me, you gotta try this simple makeup tip. Now you can either go loose powder, you could go pressed powder, but if you're using a pressed powder, make sure it's a pressed powder that's light and airy like the Kosas Cloud Set, because the last thing you wanna do is put a thick, more like cake makeup-y, like powder foundation type powder on your lips. That's not gonna look good. That's not gonna look flattering. So make sure if you're using this makeup tip that you're using a lightweight, airy powder. I'm going to show you how to use it with the Kosas Cloud Set because I use this all the time in my day-to-day life, and it's just a really quick product to throw on your lips. Less is more with loose and pressed. Grab a small brush, going back to my N14, you're going to take a tiny bit. That's it. A tiny bit. Tap off the excess and run this along your lip line. Not in your lips, but just along the lip line. This is going to be a game changer for longevity, for feathering, and also bonus tip, it's going to smooth and really blur the look of fine lines around your lips. So if you have like smoker's lines, if you have any kind of visible lines around your lips that makeup and lip liner tends to get caught in between, this is going to like seal it in and almost act like a primer so that doesn't happen. Next, take your lip liner. It's still going to glide on nice and smooth. If you use too much powder, your lip liner is going to have a hard time adhering. It's going to look really chalky. So that's how you know you put too much powder on. So again, small amount is all you need. Tap off the excess so it's not too much product. Take a lip liner of choice. This is the Maybelline Lifter Liner in the shade On It. This is also an amazing makeup tip if you sweat a lot above your lip. You're going to want that little extra lightweight amount of powder above your lip. It's going to help so much with that kind of sweating throughout the day, because when you sweat above your lip, it's going to seep down into your lip liner and your lip products, and it's going to end up feathering them and making them not last as long. So I'm going to line my lips just like normal. And for those out there who have ever wondered why you see me use this trick of powdering my lip, now you know why. Better product adherence, more wear time, more performance, more longevity, and a smoother looking lip line is why you want to do this technique. Now pop whatever lipstick of choice on top. This is Daisy from Revie Beauty. And the good news is I know that my lip line is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to feather. It's not going to smudge. Therefore, my lipstick is going to stay put so much longer. It's just a game changer. So if you're a bride, if you have a long day ahead of you, if you have a social event, if you have just a busy day and you don't want to reapply your lip liner and your lipstick, try this technique and you will thank me later. That's a wrap on this video filled with makeup tips that you should know about. If you try any of these makeup tips, drop them in the comments below. I know they're going to change the game for you and they're going to change your makeup game more importantly. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, and if you try any of these makeup tips, give this video a big thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, I would love to see you in future videos. Please consider subscribing. I would love to keep you here. That is all for this one, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. All right, you guys, I have enjoyed this time with you so much. I can't even tell you. I feel like we're just sitting down, hanging out, and just really starting the year off right, which I really appreciate. So hopefully you're enjoying this trip down memory lane. Last video that we're going to talk about and watch again together is luxury versus drugstore, where to spend your money. This was a really well-received video. I can see why it is a really helpful video. It gives you a lot of insight as to what I think formulation-wise, product-wise, what's worth spending your money on versus what you could definitely save your money on. Like, you know, there's so many products in the market. There's so many different price points too. Even within drugstore, there's high-end drugstore like pricing. And then there's really, really low-end drugstore pricing, right? Like, so think like Elf or LA Girl Cosmetics or Essence Beauty, right? Those are like the lower end in the price point. And then you get to like L'Oreal, which is definitely a little teeter around like the higher end price point, and even some Maybelline products too, right? This is just a really well-rounded list, and I really gave it my all in terms of like what is worth spending your money on versus what you could definitely save your coins on. Now, ultimately, this is just my opinion, and spend your money wherever you want to spend it. If you don't want to buy the luxury products I recommend in this video, then there's plenty of amazing drugstore products in the market, and vice versa. If you want to just go full on luxury, you do that. I'm not going to judge you either way. I love all kinds of makeup, and I test all kinds of makeup on this channel, and I buy all kinds of makeup. So without further ado, let's watch this last one together. Luxury versus drugstore, where to spend your money. Is there really a big difference between drugstore makeup versus luxury makeup? I'm going to tell you what to spend your money on and what to save your money on. So consider this your ultimate guide on where to put your money with your makeup. Okay, we have so many products ahead of me, and I have so many opinions on where to spend your money, where to save it. And this is a really important topic to talk about because there are so many amazing high-end formulas that are absolutely worth the splurge, in my opinion. And there are so many other great drugstore products that when you can save the money, you definitely should. So we're gonna get right into it, and let's tackle the first things first, and that is gonna be foundation. Now, my opinion on foundation has always been that should be where you put your money. So if there's one form of makeup product that is worth the splurge and worth the investment, it is going to be always hands down foundation. And think about it this way. Foundation covers majority of your face. So it's actually one of the most important things you could put on your skin. It's not like a lipstick that you throw on, you apply all throughout the day. Think about it this way. Foundation is like a commitment. You put it on top of your skincare and you wear it for 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, however many hours you wear foundation. So when you think about it that way, it is absolutely very important that you spend your money where it matters the most. And foundation, if it's not a well-formulated product, if it's got bad ingredients in it, you don't want that sitting on your skin and disrupting your skin all throughout the day. So put your money into your foundation. Let me talk about some of the best foundations that are worth the splurge, worth the hype, and that are overall formulas that will never disappoint you. The top dog, so to speak, in the foundation formulation department, in my opinion, goes to Dior. Dior makes some of the best formula foundations, whether it's cream, liquid, glowy, matte, all day wear versus glowy, whatever category you want with your foundation, Dior is going to have you covered. And quite literally, they have some of the best options and best formulations that never disappoint me, which is why they're one of the top brands I will always keep in my professional makeup kit because I know I can rely on them. Some of the best finishes, some of the best long wear finishes, some of the best glowy finishes. Like, you get the idea. Dior, if there's one cosmetic brand that I could recommend to buy foundation from for the rest of your life, it would definitely without a doubt be from Dior. No surprise here, but the second brand that I would suggest you put your money into in terms of foundation would be any formulation from Giorgio Armani. So Luminous Silk, a cult classic for many great reasons and well-deserving reasons. The foundation lives up to all the hype and more. It is long-lasting, glowy, second skin-like, and always looks perfect no matter what your skin type is. So it's one of those formulations that I always feel so confident putting on all my clients and also so confident recommending to you as a viewer. Whether you are mature, young, acne-prone, oily, dry, combination, normal, whatever it is, if you have skin, your skin is going to love the Armani Luminous Silk. Now, this is a very high price point. This is $68 for the full size. So it's going to set you back. But there are so many other options I have ahead of me that you could save to balance out the high price tag of splurging on your foundation. A few other honorable mentions that I want to point out in terms of like the best in the game for high-end foundations. NARS has some of the best formulations as well. Another high-end foundation that I love is from Lancome. These are some beautiful foundations and beautiful formulas. Whether you want matte or glowy, they have both to cover you. And another absolute classic in the game of foundations has to be Estee Lauder. These are impeccable formulas, whether you want something glowy, more natural, something great for mature skin, or something full beat, full coverage that is budge proof and smudge proof, then you have to give it up to Estee Lauder because they have some of the best, most worth it formulas on the market. A few other formulas I have to point out that I love, and they're both very high end. The new ABH Impeccable Foundation is a gorgeous, flawless, all-day wear coverage foundation, as well as the Girl on Paris Terracotta Foundation. This is such a splurge, very much luxurious and very much high end, but the look and the finish on your skin is absolutely worth the price tag. Now, before we get any further, I do want to preface this part of the video by saying just because I think that you should splurge on your foundation does not mean that there are not some amazing, amazing drugstore foundations on the market. So I want to call out quickly a few of my top favorites in the drugstore foundation game that are absolutely worth checking out. And if you don't want to splurge, if you don't want to take my advice on splurging on a high-end foundation, listen, I totally get it. I just want to give you that information so you could use it as you want to. So if you want to keep saving, these are some of my best and most recommended drugstore foundations on the market. First up, an absolute classic, been around forever, will not disappoint you. A very well-rounded formula that I think works best for all skin types, dry, normal, combo, young, mature, whoever you are. If you want a good, solid drugstore foundation that's not going to disappoint, the True Match from Loreal is absolutely worth checking out. Now, if you want a good alternative to that Armani Limited Silk, I've been saying for years that the L'Oreal True Match Nude is a beautiful, beautiful alternative to that high-end foundation. It'll give you a stunning finish to your skin. And if you are dry or mature, or dry and mature, you're gonna love this formula. Now, for my oily people out there that also want something long wearing, but that doesn't leave you super flat and doesn't break the bank, you have to check out the Maybelline Superstay. This is absolutely a classic that wears impeccably well all day long. And a newer favorite of mine that I have to recommend that has been so gorgeous and on heavy rotation in my makeup routine is the Maybelline 30-Hour Superstay Foundation. Gorgeous, matte finish, matte feeling, but leaves you with a soft, subtle, luminous glow depending on like what kind of lighting you're in. So it's not flat, but it is more matte feeling and very, very long wearing and very great for oily skin. Now, the absolute cheapest foundation from the drugstore that I would ever recommend you put on your skin that will not disappoint you. So if you really, really want to save through and through with your products and your formulations, then definitely check out the e.l.f. Soft Glam. This is a great product and you'll be shocked at how long this wears, how beautiful it looks on your skin, and it's absolutely the most affordable, best option on the market. It's $8. Next category that we're going to tackle is going to be skin tints. Now, listen, I do love a drugstore foundation, like the ones I just mentioned are phenomenal. However, I have not run into a skin tint from the drugstore that's knocked my socks off. So for that reason, I'm going to say in this category, you should definitely splurge. And some of my favorite formulas to splurge on that are worth the hype, worth the money, worth the investment, and great feeling on your skin, definitely are going to go to CL, the Tint to Protect SPF 50. That's right, SPF 50. This feels so nice on my skin. I do have more oily skin. This leaves me pretty glowy. However, it's definitely doable for oily skin types. If you are more dry leaning combination, then you're really, really gonna love the finish and the look of this skin tint. It feels like nothing on your skin, but it actually offers a really, really solid, beautiful amount of coverage without looking or feeling heavy. So feather-like lightweight, comes with a dropper. You could blend this in with your fingertips very easily or definitely apply with a brush like I like to, but this is a top formula that I love to recommend. An old favorite of mine that I've gone through so many tubes of this one, this is the Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Moisturizer. This is one of the products that I grab when I'm in a really, really big hurry because it's one that I could grab and apply so quickly without a mirror, without looking what I'm doing. It blends into your skin like butter. It's so quick, so easy, very beginner friendly in that regard as well. It leaves you with a soft, natural amount of coverage. It does have SPF 30, which is great in addition to your sunscreen that you'd wear underneath, which I recommend you do. But all in all, it's a really solid, really easy to work with, convenient formula that I recommend to a lot of people. So whether you're oily, dry, combo, normal, this is going to be one that's going to be good for pretty much everyone. If you're ultra dry and you want a really yummy, dare I say, like glowy, juicy finish to your skin and for your skin tint, then you have to check out the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint. This one is serum based, so it's going to feel incredibly hydrating on your skin. So absolutely a phenomenal formula if you have dry, more parched, dehydrated, or just very dry skin in general. So either young dry skin, mature dry skin. If you are a dry skin person out there, then you're going to love this one because it's going to feel like a drink of water on your your skin, all while giving you a nice light to medium buildable coverage. So this is beautiful. If you're oily, I'm just going to put out there, it's not going to be your best suited formula. Now, my personal favorite Splurge tinted moisturizer absolutely goes to the Hourglass. This is the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. It is so lightweight, so beautiful on your skin, so breathable. But the bonus is this is actually very long wearing and looks incredible on your skin from morning until towards evening when you're taking off your makeup. If you are an oily skin person, you're gonna have to touch up just a little bit throughout the day. That's just the nature of the game with skin tints because they are more moisturizing and more hydrating. But if you are wanting a good, well-formulated, beautiful finish tinted moisturizer and you are wanting to splurge, if you get this one, you're gonna love it and you're not gonna be disappointed, I promise you. I just want to point out there, if you have any drugstore tinted moisturizers or skin tints that you love that you have not seen me try yet on my channel, please leave them in the comments below because there's definitely products that I miss. Inevitably, I can't try every single thing on the market. I try my best to, but if you have a recommendation that I have not tried yet, drop that in the comments, please. Okay, this next category is one of my absolute favorite makeup categories, and it's a product that I heavily rely on in my makeup kit professionally and on myself personally. That is going to be concealers. So for concealers, where would you think we would land? Splurge or save? I'm here to tell you my personal opinion. Concealers is absolutely hands down, without a question, where you're gonna want to splurge. And I'm gonna preface this again, just like I did with the foundations. That doesn't mean there's not some great drugstore concealers on the market that you see me use, love, recommend. But in terms of where you should spend your money and where it's worth spending your money, your hard-earned money, concealers is absolutely in that same category with foundations. The formulations, the ingredients that go in it, the wear time, the finish, the look, the creasing, the way they wear throughout the day, the way they look on your eyes. Your under eyes are a very delicate, very finicky, very, very difficult area to work with in terms of makeup. So concealer can really make or break your makeup look. So the wrong concealer can ruin the look of your foundation. It can ruin the look of your setting powder. It can ruin the look of your makeup in general. So very, very important to spend your money on a good formula concealer because listen, our under eyes, they tell a lot of tales, okay? And if you get the wrong formula, it's going to crease, it's going to look cakey, it's going to separate, it's going to look just heavy under your eyes. Like I said, under eyes, the skin here, very finicky, very difficult. These are some of my top, always will recommend these formulas for concealers that I have to share with you. They're absolutely worth every penny and they're worth the splurge. Number one, and my absolute favorite at the moment, and has been for a minute now, is Miss Natasha Denona. The High Glam Concealer I recommend for all skin types, skin ages, skin issues, you name it. This is one of the best powerhouse concealers on the market. Full coverage, so less is more. You don't have to overuse it. You don't have to glob on a ton of product to get a really beautiful, flawless look to your under eyes with a lot of coverage. A few dots, blend it out, set it, you are good to go. What I also love about this formula is whether you have oily skin, dry skin, this has a perfect amount of moisture that looks flawless under your eyes. It never looks crackly. It never looks too cakey or creasy. It is just a solid formula that's absolutely worth the money. Now, it wouldn't be my makeup channel if I didn't mention my OG classic favorite to go to. It still is. I don't care what anyone says. I will always go back to this formula and this product. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer from NARS. It's always going to be a hit and it's always going to be a staple in my kit, my life, and a top recommendation for anyone out there. The reason why is this product is phenomenal in terms of layering, building up, and also for touch-ups. No matter how many times I build up or layer this product within reason, it does not end up looking heavy or cakey. It has a really beautiful creamy satin dry down finish to it that looks just so beautiful and skin-like under the eyes, in the T-zone, wherever you're using this concealer. It's a phenomenal formula that's absolutely worth checking out. It's a cult classic for a reason, and it's held up to all the new formulas on the market in my opinion. It's just a solid formula. So whether you're dry, normal, mature, young, you're gonna love the Radiant Cream Concealer, especially under the eyes. It's a hit. Now I'm still holding quite a bit, so I'm gonna run through them pretty quickly. Another staple in my life and in my makeup kit is very full coverage. So talk about less is more. You need a tiny little dollop of this one. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, and this will quite literally vanish any imperfections, anything you're struggling with, dark circles, redness, anything on your skin that you want to cover. This is gonna do it in a really flawless, seamless way. However, I will warn you, don't overdo it with this one under your eyes because it will turn cakey very quickly. So less is more. If you you apply the perfect amount on top of hydrated, not overly moisturized, but hydrated under eyes, and you set it into place, this is going to be a favorite for a long time. A newer favorite that I've been loving for the past year and a half is the Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer from Danessa Myricks. Fantastic, solid formula. Really great option for all day wear. Doesn't move, doesn't oxidize, doesn't crease unless you don't set it. And again, all concealers are going to crease to some degree if you do not lock them down with powder. That is just the reality. But this one is, however, very long wearing, needs minimal powder to lock it into place, which is great, and good for all skin types. So well-rounded, good choice all around. There's not one person that can't use this formula. Going back to Dior, I feel the same way about Dior's concealers as I do about their foundation formulas. Dior concealers are top notch, whether you want a long wear one, something more creamy, or something just in the middle. The Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer is one of my absolute favorites. Very thin, very buildable, very creamy, very lightweight. You can lock this into place and it will stay put all day long without feeling heavy or looking overly cakey under your eyes. So absolutely an amazing, well-rounded formula that just performs phenomenal throughout the day. Two more honorable mentions that I absolutely love. Both are very full coverage. One's more matte. The Anastasia Concealer is a top-notch formula that doesn't get talked about enough. This is extremely full coverage, much like the Hourglass. So less is more, used very sparingly. If you do use this, just know that it is a powerhouse and it's not going to budge throughout the day. And last but not least, a newer favorite, it's the KVD Serum Concealer. This is creamy, serum-like, milky in texture and feeling, gives beautiful coverage, very long lasting, very long wearing, and also again, less is more. This is very pigmented and offers quite a bit of coverage for feeling super lightweight and offering a really nice amount of hydration under your eyes. So love this one. Absolutely worth checking out. Okay, next category is a very important category. This is going to be all about powders, whether it's pressed or loose. Where would you think you should put your money? It's probably really obvious, especially if you're someone who watches my channel. You know, I'm a big high-end luxury powder junkie over here. I rely on them absolutely heavily in my day-to-day life, both professionally and personally. So without a doubt, hands down, putting your money and spending your money on high-end luxury face powders. So this is absolutely a splurge. Now, if I had filmed this video over a year ago, you would have seen me put and recommend above and beyond any other formulation was the Givenchy Prism Lead Powder. But we all know the backstory. They reformulated it. It's not the same anymore. So now these are the ones I would recommend you put your money into and splurge, okay? Setting powder, just like concealer, can make or break your makeup look. They can add either a heavy layer and really dull out your complexion and make it look cakey and just crusty and dusty. Or they can refine your pores, they can smooth texture, they can blur imperfections, they can give you a filtered look to your skin, set your makeup for all day wear, and prevent creasing all day under your eyes. So with that said, powders, either pressed or loose, are absolutely where you should be putting your money. Now, my personal favorite that I rely on heavily, both professionally and personally, one of my favorite formula powders to set your makeup for all day wear, for a flawless look that lasts all day, has got to be the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powders. These come in a wide range of shades. My personal favorite under my eyes is Cupcake and Cherry Blossom Cake. And this is also gonna be one of my personal favorites for oil control. So if you have oily skin, combination oily skin, or just normal skin. If you have normal skin, even if it's dry leaning, you're totally fine. This powder is still good for dry skin as well. However, it's not my top pick for dry skin. But what this does do is leave you with such an airbrushed, flawless finish to your skin that looks incredible on camera, in pictures, in person, in your real everyday, day-to-day life. So if you're talking to someone face to face, you're not gonna look like you have a heavy amount of cakey powder on your skin. It's gonna just smooth your skin, refine the look of pores, texture, minimize the appearance of oil throughout the day, and it's gonna leave you with a flawless under eye every single time. So this is one of my absolute top recommendations. I love this powder so much, and I rely on it so heavy. And another one that is best, in my opinion, for drier skin types, dry mature skin types, or just dry skin in general, or combination dry, is gotta be the new Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Surreal Setting Powder. This is a phenomenal formula. This one is also talc free. It's brand new. There's a great shade range to choose from. This is a very lightweight, very silky feeling powder. I love this one even for my oily skin. It still performs amazing at keeping me more matte throughout the day. It's also amazing under the eyes for setting your concealer. It's great for all skin types, like I said, but for dry or dry leaning or severely dry, this is one of my favorite recommendations for that skin type. Now, if you really are in the mood to splurge and in the treat yourself kind of mood, and you want a really gorgeous, luxurious feeling powder on your skin and you're not afraid of the price tag, then the La Prairie Skin Caviar powder is definitely worth checking out. It's one of my favorites. I use it sparingly because I don't want to run out of it yet, and I'm getting close to it. This is a whopping $250. I know. Like I said, if you want to splurge, you're not going to be disappointed. This gives a beautiful silky finish to your skin that is not too heavy, doesn't sit on your skin. It looks really beautiful and airbrushed throughout the day. And it does an amazing job of just blocking in your makeup without feeling heavy or cakey. Now, in terms of pressed powders, there's going to be two top pressed powders that I recommend you splurge on. One is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Pressed Powder. This is one of my absolute holy grails in my professional kit for both touch-ups, soft pore refinement, smoothing, you name it. It's a phenomenal powder. I also love it for myself as well. When I'm traveling, I have the little minis that I keep in my purse, and they're phenomenal. And another favorite, no surprise here, is absolutely from Kosas. The Cloud Set powder is a phenomenal powder for dry, more mature skin. So if you're looking for an amazing formula pressed powder for either touch-ups on the go, quick setting, minimal setting if you have really dry skin, you just want to do some pinpoint setting with your powder, or if you just want something that's really lightweight and doesn't look like it's a heavy powder on your skin, because pressed powders, by the nature of them, they can look and feel a lot more heavy. This one does not. This one feels quite literally like air on your skin. So absolutely worth the splurge, in my opinion. Like I said, pressed powders and loose powders, that's definitely where you're going to want to spend your money, because you're going to see it on your skin and it's going to make or break your entire makeup look. Now, I do want to throw out one honorable mention from the drugstore that I think is worth checking out. So if you are adamant on saving your money when it comes to loose setting powders, the only one that I really would recommend checking out in terms of for everyone, for like mature skin, young skin, oily skin, dry skin, I think the only one that falls under that category of pleasing everyone is going to be the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the only one that I'd recommend for all skin types, all skin ages, that's worth checking out at the drugstore. I do love a couple others like from Lottie London. However, I would not recommend that for everyone, especially if you have dry skin. Okay, let's switch things up. Let's start talking about some colored cosmetics, okay? Specifically bronzers, powder bronzers. Now, in my opinion, hands down, where you want to put your money and where you want to splurge is going to be in the powder bronzer category. And let me tell you why. These just have it down. They have everything going for them. They are some of the best powder formula bronzers I've ever tried in general. These are top notch and well worth the money and well worth the splurge. The first one I want to talk about is a powder bronzer that's going to give you a soft, luminous, filtered look to your skin. If that is the kind of bronzer that you're looking for, not something that's flat, overly matte, or glittery, then you have to check out the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. This is by far one of the most gorgeous bronzers you could ever put on your skin. It's lightweight, buildable, and it gives you this beautiful veil of warmth and like a filtered look to your skin. It is luminous, but it's not glittery. So there's a big difference. So if you're looking for something with like a soft, luminous, think like candlelit kind of glow to your skin, this is the one to check out. Absolutely worth the money. They are very expensive. It's Hourglass. Everything from Hourglass is a pretty penny, to say the least, but this is absolutely worth the splurge. Another really hefty price tag bronzer that you see me talk about all the time. It's one that I was not expecting to love. However, this formula knocked my socks off. It is absolutely beautiful, blends like butter, looks soft, luminous, and perfect on your skin. You know I'm talking about the Hermes bronzer. These are so stunning. There's multiple shades in this one brick. You get a more red tone shade, you get a more neutral shade, you get a more warm shade. It is well-rounded. Some have more of a matte finish, some have a luminous hint of glow in them. So when you grab your brush, like let's say 104 brush from BK Beauty, my absolute favorite, you swirl into it, you brush it all over, the look, the finish, the wear time, it's absolutely worth the splurge, in my opinion. Now, this is luxury and this is Hermes. Of course, it's going to have a really hefty price tag. But if you're willing to splurge on a high-end bronzer, this one is not going to disappoint you. You're going to end up being obsessed with this formula. They did an amazing job. Now, another formula that I keep heavily stocked in my pro kit all the time, because the formula is just perfect for all skin types, all skin ages, all skin anything, is the powder bronzers from Fenty Beauty. They have an incredible shade range to choose from. There is a bronzer for every single skin tone out there, and you will not be disappointed with how this wears, how it blends, and the overall look and finish of this one is just top notch. So it's one of my favorites to recommend whenever I'm in doubt of like someone's skin type, their skin age, or what they're looking for. If I want to recommend a well-rounded, just crowd pleaser type of bronzer that's going to have a shade for anyone who's looking for a bronzer, this is always the one that I recommend. It's not that pricey. It's well under $40 and it's absolutely worth the investment. A UK based brand that I absolutely have to shout out because their bronzers are phenomenal formulations is Vive. It's the Modern Bronzer Bronzing Duo. You get two and the price tag isn't even hefty on this one, which is amazing. So splurge on this one because the bang you get for your buck is unbeatable. Two pans, two different undertones, all in one, gorgeous packaging, and it's not going to break the bank. A newer favorite of mine that is absolutely worth the investment and worth the splurge. It's from YSL. It's the All Hours Hyper Bronzer. This is luxe through and through. Between the tufted leather packaging or faux leather, I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm sure it's faux. The hard logo on the top and the embossed pan. But all that jazz aside, the formula of this is incredible and so worth the money. Long lasting, blends like butter, looks gorgeous on your skin, has a beautiful filter-like smoothing look to it. Never overly powdery or chalky or cakey on the skin. Just performs amazing and is so worth checking out and so worth the splurge. So those are my top picks to splurge on for bronzers. Now there is one powder drugstore bronzer that I feel absolutely confident recommending. So if you're still absolutely wanting to save when it comes to powder bronzers, I get it. I hear you. And my top recommendation for that category is definitely going to go to L'Oreal. The Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Bronzer. It's a matte bronzer. These come in great shades. It's a matte bronzer, and this is the best powder bronzer at the drugstore. Hands down, period. I will fight you on it. This is my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. This is like the best one on the market by far. Absolutely rivals the YSL. It's not the same, okay? It rivals it. It's comparable. I highly recommend it. However, it's still not the YSL. It's still not the Hermes. But is it a great comparable product? Absolutely. So if you're really, really hardcore on saving that money, then definitely check this one out. All right, now we're going to switch to cream bronzers. Now, cream bronzers, I was surprised when I came to this conclusion, but in my opinion, cream bronzers, you can absolutely save your money on, okay? There's some amazing cream and liquid formulas at the drugstore right now. Both are actually relatively new, and these perform just like high end. They give you the same kind of finish, same longevity, same blendability, same gorgeous look to your skin. So absolutely, if you want to save on a cream bronzer or a liquid bronzer, then you definitely can. Now, that's not to say that I don't love my high-end liquid bronzers, my high-end cream bronzers. I have so many that I love and I'm addicted to, but when you could save, it's important to do so. So you could definitely save if you're wanting to on the cream and liquid bronzer department. One of my favorite cream bronzers is the NYX Wonder Stick. This also comes with a highlighter on the other end. I'm not that crazy about the highlighter. It's nice, but the cream bronzer on this end is absolutely phenomenal. Blends and looks just like a luxury product, lasts all day, is easy to work with, and absolutely a steal. So save your money, get this one. You'll love it and you'll be so happy with it. And then for liquid, I've been talking about this for a while since it came out. I am so pleased with this formula. This looks just like my Makeup by Mario. This looks just like all the high-end liquid bronzers that are on the market. Performs just as long, blends just as easy to work with, and you can save a ton of money because it's e.l.f. and e.l.f. has some of the lowest price points in drugstore, period. Other than like Wet n Wild and Essence, but those don't have the best formulas. So e.l.f. is definitely crushing it with this formula and it looks just like high end. It's the bronzer and contour liquid. Great shade range to choose from. I wear the shade light medium the most and it's a showstopper. Absolutely save your money. Pick this one up. You'll love it. Okay, next category, cream blushes. Should you splurge or should you save? The answer, in my opinion, is you're going to want to splurge on cream blushes, okay? And here's why. I have tested countless dozens and dozens of cream drugstore blushes on the market, and none of them have really knocked my socks off. There's some that are very nice, absolutely, but in terms of like what's going to be worth your investment, it's going to be with the high-end luxury cream blushes. Some of my absolute favorites that I use all the time, both professionally and on myself personally, are these right here. So this category is absolutely where you're going to want to spend your money and splurge, because cream blushes, if they're not well formulated, if they're not really well executed, they look bad on your cheeks and they could cause tons of patchiness, tons of separation. They could rip up your foundation underneath. They can cause a whole ton of issues on your makeup and your complexion. So in my opinion, if you want to skip being frustrated with certain formulas, absolutely spend and splurge on some good cream blushes. Some of my favorites I want to mention just in this video that I recommend all the time. The most expensive being from Westman Atelier. I know this is a really high price point, but absolutely this is so worth it. One of the best, easiest, creamiest, most easy to blend out formulas on the market, suitable for all skin types, young, mature, oily, dry, combo, doesn't matter. I love this one and I use this heavily in my pro kit because it doesn't fade. It blends out perfectly. It doesn't rip up foundation underneath, and it's just a great solid formula. Beautiful shades to choose from and just really worth the investment in my opinion. A less expensive formula that works just as well as the Westman Tillier, but is still considered more luxury and high-end is from Persona. These are also really great for like acne prone skin. All of the formulas from Persona Cosmetics are actually formulated to be acne safe from the founder and the owner. If you are someone with acne prone skin, really oily skin, and you're worried about putting a cream, thicker product on your complexion, then I would definitely check out the ones from Persona. These are always a hit. They last perfectly all day long. They blend out easy. They have beautiful shades to choose from. Definitely something for everyone from Persona. They're not even a high price tag, but they are more expensive than Drugstore, and they're absolutely worth the money. Two other formulas that I have to call out that I love and I think are worth the splurge. One's a UK brand. This is Swede. Their cream blushes are to die for. They look bouncy and like a filter on your skin. They're just phenomenal and very unique. And then any of the Yummy Skin formulas from Danessa Myricks are absolutely worth checking out and incredible formulations. Next up, the liquid blush category. It's a category all on its own because there's so many liquid blush formulas on the market, both drugstore and high-end, very expensive luxury. So where to spend your money? Do you splurge? Do you save? The answer honestly is a little difficult, and it's a toss-up because there are so many great high-end liquid blushes that I love that I use in my kit and use on myself. And there are also some equally amazing drugstore liquid blushes that are so worth checking out. They look just like high-end. You would never be able to tell the difference. So in this category of liquid blushes, it's a toss-up. It's up to you. If you want to splurge, treat yourself, get something more high-end, you absolutely can. And these are some of my favorite ones. The Armani one is obviously a very expensive formula, but very beautiful, very buildable. One of my favorite liquids is from Huda Beauty. The faux blush filters are phenomenal. And then for liquids from the drugstore, my two absolute favorites are e.l.f. The Camo Liquid Blush, $8, unbeatable. And a new favorite that I cannot put down is the L'Oreal Lumi liquid blushes. These have stunning shades, stunning wear time, incredibly easy blendability, and layer amazing on top of liquid foundations without eating it up or disrupting it. So if you want to splurge, great. If you want to save, totally up to you. This category is a toss-up. All right, the last category in terms of blushes that we need to talk about. Do you save on powder blushes or do you splurge? Honestly, you should save, because with this many amazing drugstore powder blushes on the market, there's just really no need to spend $35, $40, $48, even $50 on a high-end luxury powder blush, because honestly, they're probably made in the same place. They probably have the exact same ingredients, and there's just no difference. If you get a good drugstore blush, which these are the ones I want to recommend the most, then you will not be able to tell the difference of high-end versus drugstore in terms of your powder blush formula. So these are absolutely where you want to take advantage and save, because if you can, you should. But let me preface this really quick by saying, before I get into the drugstore blushes that I love and recommend, I love a high-end one too. I love a bougie, high-end, treat yourself moment when it comes to powder blushes. The newest one I treat myself to that I'm not disappointed in at all is the YSL Make Me Blush powder blushes. These are stunning, gorgeous. You will be in love with them. However, they're incredibly expensive. So if you want to save, skip it. And the Giorgio Armani powder blushes, beautiful, a staple in my life. You'll be in love with it if you get it. However, they're incredibly expensive, just like the YSL. So even though you know I love them, you don't need to spend the money. Let's be real. Some of my absolute favorites, always will recommend at the drugstore powder blush formulas, will always be Milani. Milani absolutely crushes it with their drugstore blush formulas. A favorite and a staple that I've used for a trillion years at this point. Since I've been a makeup artist of like 17 years, I've always loved and recommended and used the baked powder blushes. These are fantastic. So if you want to save and still get a stunning look to your powder blush, absolutely check out the Milani first. The baked ones are phenomenal. You can either make them really natural and soft, or you could build them up to be much more intense. They give you a soft, luminous finish to your skin, but without a chunky, glittery effect. So they won't emphasize texture depending on where you put them. They give you a soft glow to your skin, and they're just phenomenal. Highly recommend these. You could not beat these at the drugstore. But Rimmel London comes very close, and they are incredibly affordable. I think these are $5, $6. They're so inexpensive. They're like buying a coffee these days, like an iced coffee. Skip the iced coffee, grab a great blush. Highly recommend you check out the Rimmel Maxi blushes. They're phenomenal formulas, like absolutely impeccable on your skin. They will look so beautiful and so much like high end. Another one that's very similar in finish, the CoverGirl True Blend powder blushes are phenomenal. Definitely worth checking out. A new favorite that knocks my socks off for $14, the Juvia's Place double blushes are absolutely absolutely worth checking out, and such great formulas that look and feel and perform just like high-end. A few more that I love and recommend is the Maybelline Fit Me blushes, the powder blushes. Fantastic, beautiful shades, won't disappoint you and won't break the bank. For long wearing in a matte finish, the L'Oreal Infallible powder blushes are the sister to the powder bronzer from L'Oreal as well, so definitely worth checking out. If you want an all-day, highly pigmented powder blush, this is the one to get. And if you want something well-rounded, super easy to pop on, we don't have to fuss about it, it's not overly pigmented, it's not under-delivering with the pigment load, that wears all day long and looks beautiful and is easy to blend, is definitely going to be the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Blush. These are fantastic. So powder blushes, save. If you can and you want to, save. And if you want to still splurge and grab that YSL that I love, then treat yourself. No one's judging you. I'm just trying to help you in terms of where to put your money and where not to put your money. Okay, last category that we're going to talk about and discuss in this video, and I will be doing a part 2 because there are so many more categories in makeup that I want to discuss and help you decide whether you should splurge or save. But the last one in this video is going to be setting spray. Setting spray is a crucial part in my personal makeup routine and when I'm working on set with clients. Setting spray is absolutely needed, important, and yes, it does something. So, should you splurge or should you save when it comes to your setting spray? I thought long and hard about this, and my conclusion is you should absolutely splurge on your setting sprays, okay? A bad setting spray, a cheap, poorly formulated setting spray, you're gonna feel it, it's gonna look like on your makeup, it's going to potentially disrupt your makeup, separate it, and either decrease the wear time or just do nothing to your skin at all. So it is important that you spend the money where it matters, and that is definitely going to be setting sprays. Some of my absolute favorites at the moment, and just in general, some are long standing, some I've been using for a gazillion years at this point, are going to be these 4 right here. These are my top ones at the moment, and they're so worth the splurge and so worth the investment. Number 1 that I'll always recommend, it's my top performing, top used, most loved, most rebought setting spray in my life is absolutely the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray from Charlotte Tilbury. It's pricey, but if you know, you know. This does something magical to your skin. Not only does it lock your makeup into place, it takes away that severe powdery look to your makeup. So if you've just freshly powdered, freshly baked, whatever you've done, this will settle that makeup into your skin and make it look more like your skin and take away that harsh makeup-y edge to your makeup. You know what I mean? All while delivering a soft amount of hydration without disrupting your makeup. Great for all skin types, even though it is more hydrating. It's great for oily skin, and it is going to lock your makeup into place and increase the wear time 1000%. Absolutely pick this one up. You will not be disappointed. It's one of my absolute favorite formulas. A new favorite that I highly recommend is the You Mist from Fenty Beauty. I've been testing this out day after day after day, and my conclusion is it's a great solid formula. Definitely worth checking out. Good for all skin types. Does the trick. No complaints. So absolutely worth checking out. Does a great job increasing the wear time of my makeup, and also does a great job of feeling nice and comfortable after my makeup has been completed. So loving this one. And if you want more glow to your complexion, then I specifically recommend this one. This is the Invisiveil Setting Spray. This one leaves me very glowy, very hydrated. So if I'm having days where I feel like I need more hydration, more glow to my skin, if I'm looking a little too dull and I want to infuse some extra glow to my already completed makeup look, then this is one that I grab and it feels really comfortable and amazing on my skin. Out of all of them, this one is scented. It does have a really nice soft fragrance to it, so if that's something you don't like, then you can't skip it. However, if you like a good smelling product that hits your skin, then you will really enjoy this one, and this is absolutely worth the money. Now, to make your makeup budge proof, smudge proof, hurricane proof, running a marathon proof, tear proof, wedding proof, sweat proof, whatever it is, whatever you want your makeup to withstand, this is absolutely the one you have to get. There is nothing at the drugstore that compares to this one, in my opinion. There are some that are like alternatives. However, I don't feel like they do the same magic, and they don't have the same like sorcery that this one does have. This is like shellacking your makeup to your skin. High end, a little bit more pricey, but absolutely worth the investment. And this is where you're going to want to spend the money if you want your makeup to be completely budge proof. And it wouldn't be fair if I didn't mention an honorable favorite from the drugstore that I've used for many, many years. Still love it, still will continue to use it and recommend it. So if you are still adamant that you don't want to spend the money and splurge on your setting spray, then I got you. Don't worry. This one right here is an incredible alternative to the Charlotte Tilbury one. So if you don't want to spend the money, you want to save those pennies, I get it. This is the only one that I would still recommend above and beyond from the drugstore that does an incredible job at setting your makeup. Is it as good as these? in my opinion, yes. However, I'd still say splurge on the setting sprays. But if you're, like I said, if you're adamant on not doing that and saving on your setting sprays, then this is the only one that I feel confident really recommending because I know it's going to do a great job and it's actually going to do what it says it's going to do. It's going to make your makeup last. Okay, that was a long video. This was a lot of information. I hope you found this helpful when you're determining where to spend your money and where to save. Now, don't worry, there's plenty of other makeup categories that we have to tackle in this series, so there will be a part 2 very, very soon. So stay tuned to that. And if you agree with any of these products that I think you should splurge on, leave that in the comments below. If you're on my same page on where you should save, leave that in the comments below. Either way, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you're newer to discovering my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love to keep you here and see you in future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. That was the last one. That was the last trip down memory lane. I really hope you enjoyed watching these videos either for the first time if you're new to my channel, and if you are, welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Or for the third, second, whatever it is time. Either way, thank you so much for spending this time with me. And thank you for watching this video. This video is a really big opportunity for me to take a few extra days off between Christmas and New Year's, which is actually my birthday, and just really take some time to fully decompress and just get a little extra family time and quality time in with Mitch. So for that reason, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoy it. You guys are the biggest reason why the internet is a fun place. And I say this all the time, but I'm so proud of this community that we've built. This community means so much to me, Mitch, Barry, Tomas, the whole family over here at Makeup by Nikki LaRose. And without you all as viewers, this wouldn't be anything. So this channel is dedicated to you. It's all for you. Everything we do on this channel is for you and to better your makeup skills, to up your makeup skills, to help you navigate the makeup shopping and what to buy, what to not buy, and just how to use the products that you do buy, right? So all these videos are for you. Thank you so much for being the best community on the internet. We appreciate you all more than you have any idea. So on behalf of me, I'm saying you're the biggest hug, and on behalf of Mitch, Barry,
boys, we all love you guys so much.
And Tomas, we can't thank you enough for being the best part of YouTube and for making YouTube and this platform and this channel everything it is. Without you all, this wouldn't be here. So we love you all. We appreciate you all. The boys send you their love. Mitch and I could not do any of this without you. So for that, we're so grateful, and we hope you have a great start to 2026. And thank you so much for being the best part of this channel. We love you all.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.